What is up, dudes, dudettes, and all my beautiful people of the interwebs? Bloody Knuckles here, aka the Gothic Gamer, and your resident anime king, back finally with more of the Smash Podcast. So thank you guys. It is Saturday, so you know what time it is. Thank you for tuning into the Smash Podcast. Sorry, I even forgot our own intro just because it's been a hot minute, just because we've been doing things too much. A lot of stuff going on lately, guys. But everyone's trying to get themselves set up, so they'll be here shortly. Right now, currently, Kofi's on dad duty and taking care of the little one, and G had to step away for a second, so he's getting his stuff set up. But Sola and Op will be here in a few minutes because they're late, like always, because they always run them behind. But guys, E3 is now done and past, and it was a wonderful time. Absolutely phenomenal. So great to be out there, and you know there were so many good things that came out of it, right? Especially from the Japanese side of gaming, and a lot of things that actually caught some of us by surprise. And once everyone's here to really talk about it, it's going to be. It was a really interesting showcase this year. Not as much as they showed last year, but the announcements that came out this year definitely so surprising because no one saw some of the announcements that came out and what certain things were. And that's what was so great about this year's E3 with the announcements that they made for the Japanese side of games. There was stuff that we already knew about and they were showing off a little bit more, but some of the newer ones that came out so far left. So announcements that we didn't even think about. And one of our uh, predictions that we hoped to see actually came true, and that one, me and Kofi were so excited about. If you follow us on Twitter, after that announcement was made, me and him legitimately were going wild and cheering about that. But anyways, guys, how's everyone doing out there in the chat? I hope everyone's doing wonderful today so far. Like I said, it's been a slow morning for everyone. Everyone's slowly catching up. Uh, but to kind of get things going and started for a minute is that being back in LA, being out there for E3 was an experience because it was so much fun. It's always so great to catch up with all the people that we know out there. And if you haven't seen, I have a picture of me, Super G, and Operation all together there on the show floor. My dog is walking around the background being weird, but we were all live there at the show floor and stuff like that. And we all got to spend some time together. But next year, Smash Podcast 2020, we will all be there at E3. That's right. Me, Operation, Soul, Angie. That's right. Soul will actually be out there himself. He's already planning on it. So we're all going to be out there live. So you'll absolutely see us at the big conferences and talking about all these. They're live together. Hey, what's up, Megatron? How's it going, brother? But yeah, so coming from E3, it was so great to be out there and see a lot of these other games and stuff out there, but the Japanese side of gaming this year actually surprised me with a lot of what we saw. Sega had a really good presence there. Square had a presence, but it wasn't big, but it was big in the aspect of what they were showing off. You know, it was something that everyone wanted. Didn't see too much from Capcom on the floor. Had a booth on the floor, but it was mainly the Capcom store and stuff like that. They weren't showing off too much just because Capcom didn't really show anything. Nintendo was absolutely massive this year, like they were last year. So big. I'm talking like to see anything from Nintendo, like 4 hour lines. Literally 4 hour lines. You had to dedicate an entire day just for Nintendo if you wanted anything from Nintendo. So that was interesting. Bandai had a good presence there. It was relatively small and stuff like that. Yes, Megatron, and we're actually gonna get into that here in a minute. Sega had a good little show. They were showing off stuff that we've already seen from Sega. So them and Atlas were there together, doing their thing, of course. So that was surprising. Arxis didn't really see them much there. Marvelous Games and XC, they were there showing off more games that they got coming over there, showing off the new center in Kagura, one of the last ones I believe that they got coming up for a bit, and a few other games. But the boosts themselves were what was interesting this year. That to me was actually kind of big, especially when you look at some of the conferences and the announcements that were made. And once everyone gets here, we're definitely going to go into that. But yeah, Megatron, the PSO2 announcement, oh, that caught me off guard, and I was so excited about that. And actually, me and Kofi here, actually, we made a suggestion of what we would want to see, and made our guesses, and we both said that we would love to see Fantasy Star Online. And when they announced that, yo, we legitimately lost our minds because we're just like, yo, we called it, we said it. Because Fantasy Star Online 2, oh, it's amazing, and we never thought that was gonna be coming to the West. So yeah, definitely gonna be going wild over that. But I think, especially for those who watch the show, they know that everyone here on the show and on the panel are big Xbox gamers. But we're multi faceted gamers. We have all consoles and stuff like that. But as an Xbox gamer, what they showed on the Xbox conference on the Xbox stage was huge. And let's start off with some of the big announcements that we got. Bandai. My love hate relationship with Bandai is very back and forth. Because when Bandai shows off things and does things right and makes a good show, they do it well. My issue is that they are very pick and choosy about the games that they release on Xbox. And that's why I have an issue with Bandai. I love Bandai, but I also hate them because of things like that. But what they showed off this year, four games that absolutely already have me excited, that I pre-ordered because of the fact that they look good, they play good, and they're all going to be on Xbox, and I'll support that. And that is the fact that they showed off Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. They showed off, especially, which caught me off guard, was they announced a new Tales of game when they showed off Tales of Arise. And I gotta say, when I was watching that trailer, I was so enthralled by the way that the characters look. The main male character, how he pulls out that fire sword from his partner's chest, and how she manipulates like magic bullets and has a magic gun. I was like, yo, this is dope. What is this? And when they showed that it was a new Tales game, I was just like, oh. I was like, Tales. I was like, yes. I was like, because I've been working through Tales of Vesperia remake and stuff like that. And I heard that they're also doing a Tales of Berseria remaster and stuff like that. But Tales of Arise has me excited. And the fact that that's going to be multi-plat, I'm all for it because I do love the Tales of series. So I'm glad that they were doing that. Then, what they showed off from Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R. R. Martin's collaboration between From Software with Elden Ring. That that game was so far out there because everyone thought it was supposed to be like a From Software version of Game of Thrones, right? That's what they were collaborating on. No, 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 no. It's something totally different with what they did with the fact that they announced this with Elden Ring, right? And Elden Ring looks so good. It's very, very much going to be a Soulsborne style game, right? But the fact is that George R. R. Martin is writing the mythos for the universe, while Miyazaki is writing all the primary storytelling of that game. I'm excited for that because of the fact that if there's one thing George R. R. Martin could do, besides ever finish his books, is that he knows how to world build. He knows how to build mythos around his world, and that knowing that he's doing that background writing for Elden Ring for that has me excited for what he's gonna do. What's up, Nath? How you doing, bud? But Elden Ring completely surprised me with that announcement, and then Bandai also showing off. What was the last thing that they showed that really caught me off guard? Oh, seeing more of Man of Medan. That one was actually really good. And actually, they had that on display there. Code Vein. Code Vein was the other big one, right? Code Vein has been off and on in in has been off and on when it's been showed. It was supposed to release last year. I played it at E3 last year. It felt really good. And it was supposed to release in October of last year, but it got put on hold and they delayed it to work on it some more. Now seeing how much they've updated, especially after playing the network test the week before E3 and everything, seeing now what they're doing with that game, seeing how much more it has been improved, seeing how much more the gameplay feels better. It definitely feels very much their anime Souls esque. Like they really double down on the anime aesthetic in it, and it works. It's beautiful. I love it very much. A lot of definitely gothic Lolita styles for the males and the females in that game. So I'm absolutely in love with it, and the story is interesting. It's getting a lot better, and they definitely improved on it from the last time. So with the fact that that's coming out in September, I'm excited for Code Vein and what they're going to be doing with that. My only thing that with Code Vein is that I'm still waiting to find out they're going to do another collector's edition because they were originally supposed to do one, but when they delayed it, I think they canceled it, and I don't know if they're going to do one. So I'm really hoping to see more of that. But Code Vein is actually going to be a really good game and definitely one I'm going to be all over. So I'm excited for that. But the biggest announcement that came out was from Sega announcing that Phantasy Star Online 2 is coming to the West and is going to be first on Xbox. All content, all free to play, all cross play in Game Pass for free. All content updates for free. Everyone on Xbox is going to be able to play Phantasy Star Online 2. And the fact that they announced crossplay and cross progression, that's amazing. Phantasy Star Online has been one of the biggest, literally one of the longest running and biggest MMOs over there in Japan, right next to some of the bigger Korean RPG MMORPGs that are from out there. For for Xbox to get like that with their partnership with Sega, to have that game all free to play, all content, and launch first on Xbox, that is absolutely huge. Because Phantasy Star Online was the game that Destiny was before Destiny ever existed. Literally, that was the MMORPG besides WoW. Phantasy Star Online has that big of a draw, especially when it came to loot grinds and really well done content. When they made that announcement, I legitimately was screaming, standing outside the Bethesda conference, in line waiting to get in there because I was watching it. And when I saw that announcement, I got so hyped because of the fact that to make an announcement like that on their stage was absolutely huge, and that was one of the best things that Sega could have announced at at E3, and doing it for Xbox Live on their stage. That was a wonderful announcement to see. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to get it on other consoles, they did announce that it would be on other consoles eventually. We just don't know when that time frame would be, so you may be waiting just a little extra bit longer for everyone. But the fact is, Fantasy Star Online is coming, and I'm so excited about it because once that game comes out, I'm gonna be streaming that all the time, like all the time, more than I want to start with Monster Hunter, with the new Iceborne expansion, which for PlayStation fans, Iceborne right now the beta's up for you guys, and then next weekend, all my Xbox people, the beta will be running for Iceborne next week for all of you guys. Yes, I played Fantasy Star way back on the Dreamcast, and a little bit on the OG Xbox, but I played it way back on the Dreamcast, as that's what I had, and that's what one of my best friends had. So we were always playing on that. Besides, playing like the Sonic Party game, which was like their Mario Party and stuff like that. But Fantasy Star Online was so great back in the day, and I'm glad that seeing that come back on Xbox is such a fantastic get and so amazing, because I've been telling people that the fans who had a Dreamcast went to the OG Xbox. All the Sega fans went to Xbox because Xbox is where Sega was showing out, and they were seeing the innovation from Microsoft that Sega was putting in. So the fact that they are actually showing that now and putting that out there is so great to see. Yeah, you absolutely can come on through, Neth, if you can get into the Discord.
Yo, it's good.
Hey, what's good, G? How you doing, brother?
I'm great, man. Much better now. I got everything sorted out right here.
I know, man. I was like, everyone's coming in late today because everyone always on that sleepy time or always busy.
Some like yeah, just busy, bro.
Yeah,
Early
I was
in the
about to
morning.
say because you
So
busy
far.
in the morning. I was like, Ops is at work and he's about to leave the restaurant. Soul always driving because that man's never not in a car whenever he's on a show.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean for real, it always is. And right now Kofi's playing Super Dad like you typically do. So yeah, everyone's got a little bit of uh, things going on right now.
That's all good, brother.
Yeah, but I was right now just talking about the Bandai announcements on the Xbox conference and stuff like that, and Sega surprising everyone. What are your thoughts on that stuff, man?
Man, it's always good to just get some support from other devs besides the ones we've just been getting. So to see Bandai and Sega on stage was pretty dope. I always get excited, man, to see that because that just means we got more stuff coming.
Yo, for real, for real.
And Fantasy Star too, man. I used to play a lot of Fantasy Star back in the day when online infrastructure wasn't that great. Like I used to play on the Dreamcast, the first Fantasy Star. I think it was the first one.
Yeah.
Whatever one. I was playing Fantasy Star then, bro, and that was like my first real like big bite into like console online gaming, and like that's kind of like where it started for me, honestly. Like when it comes to stuff like what is it like Warframe and DC Ultimate or whatever it is,
Oh,
stuff
DC
like that.
Universe Online.
Yeah, it started for me when Fantasy started. So to see it now like come back and be on Xbox, my preferred platform, I think it's dope. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's so great to kind of see that. What about the announcements from Bandai on the stage with kind of what they dropped with the new Tales game, showing off Elden Ring and showing more Code Vein? What are your thoughts on those?
All right, so I got to spend a little bit of time with Code Vein again this year because I played it last year, and it's so different than last year, bro. Like that little bit of time because it was supposed to come out already, pretty much, but that little bit of time I guess they took, a lot of stuff has changed, man. I wasn't too impressed by what they've done with it. I don't really like the directions of the changes. I think it felt better last year, but that's just me. Um, but like everything else, dude, was just Tails is always good because Tails is like a classic series now, and they're pretty solid. I haven't played a Tails game in a while. I own them, but just they just inside the backlog. Um, the ones I do
Big.
have on Xbox.
Oh,
It's good.
look who it is! It's the Soul King himself. And guys, look what fraud decided to actually show up for a show after a year and a half of being gone. Fucking Neth.
What's
Yeah, they
good?
finally gave me a Saturday off, so I'm finally back. Real quick, hey Kofi, are you here?
Kofi's playing Super Dad right now. He's dealing with the little one.
Oh, okay. About to, I couldn't hear him in like the thing. I thought maybe he was muted. All right, but cool. I'm finally back. Friday nights ever. Been watching Naruto and shit. The only anime that matter. Let's see. Vegeta still sucks, Super G, and let's keep going.
As
That's
soon
pretty
as he
much to
gets,
sum up.
yeah, that sounds about
I'm
right. It's
we're gonna
okay.
let that go because we know you're the fraud of this show, so we're gonna let it
Uh
go.
huh.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but on the real though, I've been actually watching anime. Right now I'm on season 3 of Bungo Stray Dogs. It's a pretty good show. I like season 2 a lot more than season 1.
Yes,
Oh,
Um,
that's for
yes,
sure.
that slime show you recommended, Bloody. That show's fucking awesome. I watched that. Yeah,
yeah.
I watched a lot of anime actually. You'd be surprised.
Wow.
That's good, man. Now you're catching up.
Yeah, I was about to say now
Yeah.
Neth is finally in the mainstream with everyone else. Now if you just
Oh,
watch
Mob
it,
Psycho 100. That show's better than One Punch Man. I love that show.
yo, Mob Psycho is legit. I was like, I do love Mob. I was like, the comedy in that one is so great. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Mob is one of my favorite animes.
It has some of the best characters around. It really does.
Oh, absolutely. The characters around Mob is what makes it all great. Of course, Dimple is always great, and then Reagan, and then oh man, I love Mob. I love Mob, and the animation in that one is honestly like 10 times better. Just straight
Yeah.
up.
Oh yeah, freaking One Punch new animation's not really that great.
Yeah, it really is. But hey, it's good to have
But
you
there's
back
there's
on
only one god tier right now though, and that's that Demon Slayer, bro.
Demon
That
Slayer.
animation is
I don't know.
I'm waiting for
Hey,
that to
hey,
end, then I'll
hey,
watch it.
hey. To be fair though, I was like Shield Hero is also next level. Let's not be hating on the Shield
no,
Yeah,
Hero.
no, no.
I'm also waiting on that one. That one's
Shield
almost
Hero,
over though.
Yeah, next week.
Shield Hero's dope, but like it's not even in the same freaking discussion as Demon Slayer, bro.
You're right. It's
sorry.
above. It's above.
Oh, no, hell no. Get out of here. That shit, dude. Honestly, like, Shield Hero is like, it's like animation level is right there with Wise Man Grandchild, bro. Like
Oh,
that,
okay.
they
Yeah.
are.
I need to
They're on
watch
the
that
same.
too.
They're in the same tier, dude. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Demon
No.
Slayer on some whole other stuff, bro.
Yeah. No. I'll agree with. I'll agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. But dude, Shield Hero actually one of the best ones. Next week is the last episode for this season, so it's
Yeah, I
gonna.
might start now then.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it'll be.
it's dope, bro. Like the swerve in the story is so sick, dog. It's ridiculous. Like
Yo, for real.
you're gonna love it, bro.
Oh yeah. That's why
You're
I'm.
gonna love
That's
it.
why.
Now, Wise Man's Grandchild, I don't know how much you gonna like
Yeah,
it, cause like
I was
you know
looking at the
how
comments. A lot of people are saying that show's very average. I wasn't even sure, honestly.
yo, like it's weird, bro, because like to me, like we're getting completely off topic, but like in the beginning, I felt like it was better in the very beginning, like the
Shit, I've
first
been
like
here in a year and a half.
it's catch up, huh? It's weird, bro, because the beginning, like I would say, like the first 5 episodes, because I'm not reading it, I haven't read it, I don't plan on reading it. The first 5 episodes are very interesting, and you're like, oh, okay, like this is dope. As you start finding out more and more about like his backstory, and then like once he gets to like where he's at, he meets other people. Like like some of the dialogue becomes super cringe, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're just like, oh no, the cheese is out, bro. Like so, I don't know. Like if you stick with it, cause like I've caught up, and I'm already like kind of like maybe I won't watch this anymore, cause I can't do the
Oh
dialogue.
damn.
And then some of the scaling of like the power, bro. Like I ain't trying to spoil it too much, but yeah,
Does it
you'll
does
see.
it does it go on that does it go on that Dragon Ball level where there's over super scaling every time that it just it's ridiculous after a while?
Nah, bro. Okay, so how much of it have you actually watched?
I only watched like the first 4 episodes of Wise Man Grandchild.
Okay, so you know that Shin is like super powerful, right? Because of like his advanced knowledge and how things work, and which allows him to just cast spells like beyond belief.
Yep.
All right, so pretty much he starts teaching the students um the way like a different thought process when it comes to magic, and all the students in his group, bro, it's like 10 or 12 of them. They just become super OP like him, and they just start wrecking everything. Like like nothing stands a chance. They're like, oh, these demonoids, we should be afraid of them, bro. They wipe them like nothing. I was just like, for real, like they become too OP, bro. Along with their cheesy ass dialogue.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wait, actually, side note, Bloody Knuckles, you've been always capping for this show, and I finally watched it, like, I think up at this point, probably 6 months ago, but JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that anime is greatness. Soul King doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's what I said.
Greatness.
I said it before. Everyone, watch JoJo's. I'll say this: Part 1, getting through Jonathan's
Awful.
story. Yes,
yeah,
Part
it's,
1.
I was about to say,
John-
Hold up. To be fair, I only watched the like season 1, and that is complete trash.
It's garbage.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
garbage.
No,
I will give you that.
Part 1
So if
absolutely
you
is.
So if you came out and said that part 1 was the reason why you come to that assumption, then we would have understood exactly where you're coming from.
Yep.
The fact
I
you
thought
just
I
like,
did.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
think so, boss.
no, you did. But
Did he?
I even said like
He
I
said
almost
he
gave
said
up.
it like way later. He's just like, dude, he's like, I
Oh,
couldn't
really?
get through season 1. I was like, you mean Part 1? I was like, because if it was Jonathan's story, I was like, yes.
When I seen it, I was like, bro, I can't
Yeah.
watch
Well, I
this
mean, season 1 is
anymore.
technically part 1 and part 2, but the thing is, once you get to episode 10, that show becomes fire.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna
once you see
check it out.
Joseph's story and everyone who comes afterwards, it's 10 times better.
Yeah,
Like,
JoJo's elite
Skip
level,
it if
bro.
you have to.
I'm like currently I'm watching what is it, Violet Evergarden?
oh yes.
Oh, I need to watch that show. I never watched it, but I know it's on Netflix now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so
it
I'm
came
checking
out
out
only
right
on Netflix, so that's where you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
I was like, if you want to cry,
I mean, you
that
can pirate it.
I mean, you could, but that
I
one's.
cried. I watched A Silent Voice and I shed a tear. I was like, bro, what is this? Why am I watching
Hey,
this?
we told you.
We told you that. I told you, and so did G after he watched it, that movie will make you cry. I said straight up.
I was like that Lisa Simpson meme. Or no, the Marge Simpson. Is it Lisa or Marge?
I think
one of
Lisa,
them.
when she like looks at her mom.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, what is this? Why am I watching it?
And then at the end of it all, he's just like, it's so good. It's so beautiful.
Did you watch Your Name yet?
No, I'm gonna watch that with my
Yo,
girl
that-
later
hey.
on.
Bro, that animation on that movie is top tier, bro. That movie's dope.
I looked at the trailer. I was like, you know, I'm gonna check this one out too. After A Silent Voice, I'm gonna check this one out too.
Is that one in the is it the girl that jumped through time or
Yeah,
something like
jumped
that?
Yeah,
Time
the girl who
scene,
left
yeah.
through time. Yeah.
That shit's fire too.
No, Jay, I still have yet to get Excel Word versus Sword Art
I don't
Online.
know.
I need
Slice
to.
of Life might have its little. It might creep into my, my.
Yo,
My
but it depends
routine.
on how it's done, bro. Because I feel the
Yeah.
same way. Because sometimes I'm just like, nope,
Which
I'm
one?
out.
Which
Checking
one?
out right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Slice of life. That's an interesting category. But I think my new favorite anime right now, the one I'm obsessed with at least, is probably Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. I
Yes.
fucking love this show.
I told
Here's the thing:
you.
I liked the show a lot when I first watched it, Bloody, but then I rewatched it and I loved it even more.
Yep.
Because then you understand how things go and then you
Yeah, but
appreciate
it's
how they did it.
understanding. Yeah.
Yep, and when they finally do the second season that they announced a while back, I was like, Iron Blood Orphans is one of the best Gundam series in a long time. I will absolutely stand for that. See,
Yeah,
what
like,
y'all don't
absolutely.
always believe me when I say something's good.
Nah, that's because you watch stuff like is it
I
Quartet? Like we can't do that, bro.
I know,
Quartet is
but
not,
but when I'm
bro, that shit and Yuri on Ice, like
hey,
just because you
whoa,
got stuff like that
don't
you trying
be
to recommend to people, bro.
don't be
We ain't
docking
about that
on
life.
Yuri.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
and
hold
yeah,
on. I gotta get Bloody a W real quick because I took an L on this. Darling in the Franxx is not that bad.
No,
I
Dark
really
Prince is
thought that
dope.
was gonna be a pervy show. It wasn't that bad.
It's pervy in the beginning, bro. Like,
Yeah,
it's pervy.
I
I
told
saw the
you.
trailers. I just saw butts and mechs. I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I know because of
Dark Prince is
that
good.
nickname, that Doggy Style the Anime. But hey, I tell y'all, when something's actually good that I know that y'all like, y'all never want to believe me, and then y'all come back months later and be like, "You're right." I'm just like, "You're damn right, I'm right." Like, don't
Nah, not me, bro.
disrespect.
Don't throw me in that bucket,
I
bro. 'Cause I
okay,
watch my own
G.
shit.
I was gonna say, G, you're the only one who actually takes my recommendations. Everyone else tries to fight me on it.
Nah,
Yeah.
most of the time I'm already on it, bro. I don't need like I don't go by all your recommendations, bro. Because
Not all of them because
I'm already watching myself.
most of them.
Except for I'm telling you, except for that like Yuri on Ice stuff, bro. I'm cool on it.
Yeah.
I need to
But
watch Black Clover. I'm waiting for that to hit episode 100, then I'll
Oh,
start.
But I'll say this,
So
yeah,
good.
slice of life is definitely one of those genres where things are always weird because it's like you either have really good ones or ones that are just kind of like eh, and I totally understand that. I was like, slice of life are just one of those ones that's like a nice palate cleanser every now and then. But
It is, bro. But like I said, it's still the way it has to be. It has to be done right, bro.
yeah,
Like, for me.
absolutely has to be
It's
done
not
right.
something I automatically like just like get attracted to and see. I'm like, oh yes, I can't wait for this. No, it has to be. It has to be something that like really catches the eye, so I could like stick with it.
Definitely. But now that we've got our quick 10-minute recap to catch up on catch the fraud up with what everyone's going on, back to the main discussion of where we were, and it looks like Kofi's having some issues with his son, so he'll try and be back here. But E3, the Japanese support on the Xbox stage was really wonderful to see. And G, I kind of agree with you on Code Vein. I kind of like some of the changes. I was like, but it was massively different than what we played last year for sure. I will absolutely say that.
Yeah, the pacing seemed kind of. I don't know if it was like slower or something, bro. It just felt off, bro. I was just like, it sounds like the same thing I played.
It did feel a lot different, but I think they also definitely double down on the partner system with it, which is kind of what I really like about it. With
Now
the way
that's very true, dude. Because I noticed a partner did help a lot more instead of just running behind you looking pretty. Like this one actually did like actually fight and cast little spells and stuff like that. So.
yeah, so it's definitely going to be a lot more interesting on how these
But they gotta
changes.
fix some camera angles, bro.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I mean that's been a complaint with all the Soulsborne games. I was like, and that's what I hate whenever I play like Dark Souls and Sekiro is like I always say I was like From Software cannot get a goddamn camera angle right.
No, you know what? I've come to learn that that's part of the difficulty in the game. The camera.
Yeah, you're fighting the goddamn camera.
Yeah, that's part of the difficulty in the game. Because if the camera's one such an issue, you'll probably like push right through those games like real easy. I think the camera is actually a part of the difficulty. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds crazy. I'm probably gonna get a meme made from this, but yeah, that's I think that's part of the game.
I mean, I would make that a meme. Dark Souls hard, fighting the camera. That's the biggest boss right there is the camera. Forget
What game are you guys talking about?
Any Soulsborne game.
Oh.
Any Dark Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne, even in Kofii, the biggest boss you'll fight is the goddamn camera.
That is very factual. Yeah.
It's like can't even be debated. That is the truth. All right, well, Neff.
Hey, have you guys
What's
talked
up?
about Coving?
Oh yeah, that's what we were just talking about right now.
That's what we're talking
and
about.
and
Yeah,
I'm gonna get your thoughts on that. The Japanese support that we saw on the Xbox stage from Bandai and Sega's announcement, I want you to run down the list on your thoughts on that. So starting with Bandai with the announcement of new Tales, showing off more Code Vein, and then of course what we saw with Elden Ring. What were your thoughts on that?
Okay, starting with Tails one. I did not think that was a Tails game. Like that looks like
Right.
a whole new game. That's what
agree.
I'm gonna be into. You see,
Yes.
that's like what it's fully action, right? It's not turn based.
Yeah, I believe that one's gonna be full action based because that's what
okay.
I said,
So
man.
I'm gonna play that one because that game
That
looks
looked like more like a
beautiful.
Final Fantasy type of game, bro.
Yeah, it looked like the new
Exactly.
Final
Honestly,
Fantasy 13 type.
if Microsoft, if they're looking at games like that, that'd be a great Japanese type game to lock down exclusive or maybe make your own version of that. That looks fucking awesome to me. What was the next one? The George R. Martin game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elden
Elden
Ring.
Ring.
Yeah, so I know the rumors, like you were saying earlier, was like it was gonna be a Game of Thrones game, but that's not what it really is. It's him making a whole new world, and that's always awesome seeing George R. R. Martin make lore for anything because he is a talented man. He knows how to make lore. He knows how to make a good story, except for he let the Game of Thrones end that way. But
Well,
he'll fix it.
he's
Anyways.
great at building the world. He's not great at finishing.
Yes, he really is. And
Hey,
no,
but look, check this now. Check
What
this
up?
now. Now we know why it was like that because he was busy over here doing this. And he said, "Fuck Game of Thrones." But
Yeah, he's just like
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know,
work
man.
on that.
So that was some fucker going on with Game of Thrones. It took 2 years to do the battle scene. That's what it was.
It broke our hearts. It broke all our
Yeah,
hearts.
it really
Yeah, it
did.
did.
You see, like Game of Thrones is such an awesome show, but the way they wrap that up, it's a disservice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going back to a lighter mood. So yeah, George R. R. Martin doing the lore and everything, that's gonna be great. I'm probably not gonna play the games. I'm too casual for that goddamn thing, but who knows? It looks awesome though. I hope the story's great. I hope to maybe learn about the lore of the game. And what was the next game? The Dragon Ball game? It looks fun.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
Kakarot.
I'm sick of doing the Z saga. Did anyone
Right.
agree with me on that?
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
sick of the Z
100%.
yes.
saga.
I
Tired of
will,
it.
but I'm telling you, hang on. I have thoughts on that because of the fact that I actually got to play that game and it's gonna surprise everyone. So
But it's,
Yeah,
ba-
it really
it's
is.
Cyber,
It really
It's
is.
Cyber Connect. It's basically a Xenoverse kind of thing.
yeah,
but it's a little bit than Xenoverse.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's surprises that he can't reveal quite yet, but
Yeah.
here's
Yeah.
the thing. I'm sure the gameplay and everything looks great. It looks awesome. I just wish it was a new story. That's my wish.
yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I got
And
some
wish
I
the
got some
story went
stuff
out
on
a little
that.
bit further than-
They have
Or
the
even
entire
a
Dragon
different
Ball
story, like
Heroes
why
universe.
can't we get a game about Bardock or whatever? That would be fucking
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep,
Or
exactly.
They even have the whole Dragon Ball Heroes universe they can just go into. But
Yeah, I heard, was that anime trash? I remember you were excited for that one.
It's Heroes
I
is
see people hype
enjoyable. Yeah, Heroes is enjoyable because it's literally all fan service. It's literally
yeah,
the
it's,
service.
it's like five minutes of fighting. And,
yeah. It's literally like Dragon Ball Z like Superhead like fan service. Seeing like Super Saiyan 4 Goku fighting Super Saiyan God Goku, and then
it's
of
like
course
screw attack battles.
yeah, basically. That's honestly what it all is. And I see
But
Kofii finally got his mic back up. You haven't.
My bad, guys.
Oh no, you're good.
You're good,
You
man.
you being super dad right now. It happens.
It's kind of the story of Smash, bro.
Yeah, I was like everyone here dad except for the young bloods, and everyone having tech issues like 24/7. All right. So Nath, you were really surprised by Elden Ring. What about seeing more of Code Vein that they showed off there?
I was never really interested in Kofii, to be honest with you. Like that looked like a game. First of all, it's a Souls game, so I probably won't really play it because
'Cause
I'm too much of a casual. But I will say this: it did look kind of interesting. I would probably
It's
have to try
Souls-like
like a
though, bro.
demo out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to try a demo out to really get into it or anything. But I mean, it looks cool, I guess.
All right, cool. And how about that surprise announcement from Sega for Phantasy Star Online?
That's a huge surprise announcement because nobody would expect that to be on Xbox's stage, especially I think it's launching first on Xbox. Am I correct on that?
Yep.
Yeah, see, that's the big surprise there. The Phantasy Star Online launching first on Xbox. It's a good grab by Microsoft, and you know what? For the people who would be into that, that looks awesome. I have to try it out myself to see if I'm going to be into it or not. Hopefully, I am. I could really, use an RPG to get into. Now, would that game have cross save at all?
Yes, they announced that
I think
cross
so.
play and cross progression.
Oh, okay, so like I can play a little bit on my Xbox, hop on my
That- hey,
PC.
but
Okay, that's cool. Is there a
that's Sega-
subscription
that's
or is it all
Sega
free?
throwing Microsoft a bone.
It's
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
It's a free to play
Oh,
game. You don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's-
I don't know.
So-
I'll have to try that out.
So
Hey,
yeah,
that's
it's when they announced it for Xbox, it's gonna be completely free to play. We'll be in Game Pass, so it's be completely free to play. All content that's been out, all free. going forward, it's going to be all free. So literally,
Hey, shout out to
Xbox.
Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, shout out to Game
Game
Pass.
Pass Ultimate's amazing, but I
Right.
have an
It gives
issue
you
with
all
that
the
on Twitter.
DLC.
Yeah,
I've been seeing
since
you talk about
since
the issues.
2012, there's been 6 major episodes that have been released for Phantasy Star. The sixth one came out this year, I think it was. I play the import version of the game, but I've never had time to actually play it. Since the announcement, I got really excited and updated all my downloads because I have it on my PlayStation 4 and my Vita. But now I can cross play on my Vita with people on Xbox or PC or PS4. So this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
people
amazing.
that really like the game, yeah.
And I'm just saying, man, dude, like that's gonna be what with that announcement. It's gonna be so big because, like you said, there's been 6 episodes that have been announced, and these are big expansions, similar to like what you've seen with WoW. So like they're not small. So there is a lot of content coming out with this game straight out the gate for people being able to fresh get into it. It's not gonna be like how we got that secondhand side stuff with Black Desert Online. Like I'm glad people got Black Desert because it's one of the top Korean RPGs. However, on Xbox when it launched, we're missing 4 years worth of content because we got vanilla and not all the new updates that are currently on PC. So that's a massive no-no. So Sega actually doing it right with Phantasy Star Online 2. So that was actually real good. So what are your thoughts on this, man?
On what?
On what we saw from Bandai and Sega on the Xbox stage.
Well, Kofii, I was hyped for that game at first, but I saw like gameplay and stuff like that. It started to look very clunky and like generic. So
Hey, and that's what I was telling this fool. Like, it's changed since we played it last year, bro. I was like, I don't like the changes.
yeah, it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me anymore. So
no, completely understandable. And like me and G said, is that last year it was a lot more solo focused, but you had the support character. But now they slowed down the combat a little bit because now the support character actually is like much improved. Like they really doubled down on being able to use the co-op partners a lot better than you could before. So it's definitely going to be a much different feel.
And that's because Max had he was playing Maximilian. He was playing I guess like a beta or whatever, and like it just seemed like they do a lot of like action cuts when like you killing the enemy and it takes away from the game and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just not interested in the game anymore. Elden's Ring.
Elden Ring.
I want to see gameplay. I want to like hear more about the lore and stuff before I like actually jump into like the rabbit hole. And Phantasy Star Online?
Yeah, Phantasy Star Online 2.
I listen. I never really heard about it till now, so I guess big ups to like whoever's hyped for that game.
Literally everyone else on the panel but you.
So yeah, so like, and Dragon Ball, it's Dragon Ball.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not much. If it was like actually like I don't know, like another fighting game, I'd be hyped for it. But it's Xenoverse 0.5.
Yeah, and
to me.
Like I said, I have some interesting thoughts about that because we're way back when we first heard the announcement of Project Z, everyone on this panel was so quick to be like, no, and I am the most vocal, and I will own that I was just like quick to write that game off as being like, what the fuck is this trash? I will absolutely be the first to say that, but my thoughts on it after getting hands on with it's y'all are gonna be like, whoa, Bloody actually turned around, what? So
actually, I don't know because I have never played it or anything like that. But if it actually has like real true RPG elements, I would like that.
Yeah, and I'll go into that here in a little bit when we move on.
Yeah, I mean the game looks really good. I just wish it was a new story, but I'll probably try it regardless.
And that as well.
Yeah, but the art, look, I'll say this.
Yeah, the art looks awesome.
They nailed it with the art because it has that very much manga-styled anime-esque that we saw with Fighters, and it looks pretty. Like, the vibrant colors in it absolutely do look good, like we saw with Fighters. So, that one actually caught me off guard with how good it looks. All right. So, all right, interesting thoughts there, Soul. Kofii, my man, now that you're actually able to speak, let's get
Yeah.
your thoughts on what we saw from the Japanese support on the Xbox side. So go ahead and start with Bandai, and then kind of work through and give us your thoughts.
So definitely very excited to see any Japanese games coming out on Xbox. When I saw the trailer for Tales of Arise, I've been waiting for like a new Tales game. I started clapping. It looks really, really good. Obviously, we've really only seen what we can confirm is the two main characters. I know that the developers have released the names of those characters. I don't even know them, but my money's basically ready. I don't need to. I think I've been in this ecosystem long enough to know when I'm gonna probably like a game. So
Absolutely.
I'm very excited for that. Around Code Vein, I really like um, the Soulsborne games, but I really
Mm-hmm.
have only played Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2 Scholars of the First Sin.
Yeah.
I own Bloodborne, I just haven't had time to play it. So this one, I do kind of like the anime style. And I like the idea that you can have, is it that you can have an AI partner and it's online?
I
I'm even,
believe what they've said is that they are going to have an online aspect so you can have another player, but it will
yeah.
always be set up to where you will always have a co-op partner that is one of the AIs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like the AI co-op. I think that's pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's a busy release schedule in September right now. So I just feel like I'm going to be spending
Se-
$200 easy.
Yeah, like
Um,
September to December it's going to be bad, and then come
yeah,
February, March of in the spring of next year, all the way up to like May, it's also going to be crowded. So like, oh my
yeah.
god, my wallet's hurting already with how many pre-orders I threw down.
My wallet is shaking. Yeah, it's crazy. Fantasy Star Online 2. Again, I was clapping. I was like, finally. Again, I always rant about episode 1 and episode 2 being released on the original Xbox and how much fun that was coming from the Dreamcast era. So to see that relationship somehow come back and then be first in the West on Xbox, awesome job. I hope that there's something more for Fantasy Star. I mean, this Fantasy Star Online 2 came out in 2012. I would love to see something beyond this. I don't care where I can play it, but I do want to see Fantasy Star, get to the next step. What was the other significant thing out of Japan? Um,
Elden Ring would be the other one.
Elden Ring. Okay, so yeah, from software, I'll be honest. Um, I'd rather have an Armored Core game. I really like Armored Core. Um,
That's
so
an old school mech game that no one knows about.
yeah,
Armor Core
and the
legit.
latest, yeah, the latest one I think it was Armored Core 5 for
No, I
let
think
me
there
say
I think there was no, yeah,
Victory
Armor
Day.
Core
Victory
6.
Day.
I think there was Armor Core 6. I think they did a 6.
Was there AC6?
Yeah.
All right, maybe I know I played Victory Day or Verdict Day, something like that, and
Yeah.
love that game. Love that it had an online campaign co-op. But Elden Ring is a fresh look. It looks like at a new world, right, created by George R. Martin. Is it George?
Yeah, George R. R.
Um,
Martin.
I have not watched Game of Thrones. I've not read Game of Thrones. I just don't know anything about uh, all the fans and all that stuff. But I'm still, excited for From Software to be kind of like at the forefront with their style of games. And I'm just like I feel like I jumped in at the right time with Demon Souls on PS3 and just have seen like so much come out of that. So I'm excited for it in general. Um, but I don't know if I'll be buying like day one or anything at this point.
Yeah.
Just waiting for
I know
reviews.
I know I am. Like I'm kind of all over those.
You're pretty pumped.
Oh,
Yeah. Do you have even
absolutely.
you have like a release window for that game? Is that like 2020?
For which one?
Elden Ring?
Elden
Most
Ring.
likely 2020.
Yeah, they said 2020 and they're going to
Okay.
talk more about it later. So I was like I have
Okay.
that one pre-ordered. I'm holding off on Code Vein. I was like, because I know I'm going to get Code Vein, but I'm just waiting to see if they're going to redo the collector's edition or not. But I already pre-ordered Dragon Ball Z, as well as
Wow.
I also pre-ordered already Tales of Arise. I got Tales of Arise
Oh, you
because
did? Okay.
yeah,
I didn't even
because
know you could
like
pre-order.
everyone said, when I saw the trailer for Tales of Arise, I thought it was gonna be a totally different other game because I was like the way
Mhm.
that it looked compared to every other Tales game with the main
Yes.
characters. I was like the fact that he pulls that sword made of pure fire from his partner and she's got that magic gun and has those bullets just like floating around. I was like, yo, this
Yeah.
is dope. I was like, this is hardcore action right here. I like this. And
Yeah.
when
The
they
tone was just different.
Yeah, and when they're just like, the world's got to end and we'll be the ones to do it, and it kind of shows off all that action with all the other characters around. And I was like, yo, what is this? And when they showed it was a Tails game, I was like, what? I was like, this is a Tails? I was like, yo, that's awesome.
Yeah, you're right. That's a day one.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it.
Tales of Arise, I believe that was spring of 2020. I think that was announced.
Yeah.
I'll double check that right now.
Okay, yeah, spring of 2020. All right, so just more wallet pain.
Yeah.
And
Look, this holiday season is going to be wallet pain, and spring next year going to be wallet pain. I mean, between Cyberpunk and Gears of
yeah,
War, and then all the few games that are coming out right now in the summer, and then all the big games, Doom Eternal, and all those, and now all the big anime games from Dragon Ball Z, and now Tales of Arise, and of course Code Vein. And the wallet's hurt. It's screaming because of the fact that, especially when there's collector's editions involved, my wallet be crying for me. It's just like, why you do this? Why? And it's just like, this statues is so pretty.
Oh, you got money.
No, it's not that. It's not that I got money. It's the fact of I have to work extra hard to get that money to do it. I got to support my bad habit
a couple times.
Maybe a few more times, maybe a little bit longer than I need to. But I suffer for my art. It's what it is.
That's what's up. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was there a fourth Japanese game?
Uh, Besides those ones and Fantasy
Final
Star.
Fantasy, I guess.
Oh well, we're gonna go with Square, solely different. But
Okay.
no, those were the big ones that they showed off on Xbox, which was Elden Ring, Tales of Arise, Fantasy Star, and then they showed more Code Vein, and then of course they debuted Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
That's right. They did show that.
Yeah, it is the college student diet there, Snow Bunny, ramen and macaroni. Done that far too many times. Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, Tales of Arise is coming out 2020, but they don't have a time frame yet. Just 2020.
Okay.
Late 2020.
Yeah, it might be September 2020.
Probably September or probably fall versus summer. That's typically when they tend to release. But yeah,
Yeah.
Xbox definitely showed off a great bit of Japanese support again this year, and I'm glad that's starting to come a bit more. Oh yeah, they also showed off the DLC. They were the ones who got to debut the DLC trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3. Besides when Square showed that later, so that
Okay.
yeah,
that.
so that's real interesting and glad about that. But the Japanese support is starting to come out real strong, and especially a lot of articles that have come out post E3 and stuff like that, and seeing how some of the companies are starting to change their viewpoints on things. It's been a slow process, and it's going to be a slow adoption process, but a lot of us here are being that vocal voice. I'm absolutely, the Japanese enthusiast, so I'm absolutely the most vocal. But I'm glad to see that change and shift is starting to come. I wish it would come a little bit faster,
Me
but
too.
I'm glad that we're starting to see it and we're able to get these games over here on that ecosystem because they need that other platform. The more people that can play that game, the more support that these series and franchises can get, and that only further supports more. Especially when you have a company like Microsoft right now willing to set up a studio out there and say, "Look, we'll help with the deals and provide y'all money. If y'all need help porting it, we'll provide y'all with support on people who can help y'all port those games." Not a lot of companies will do that, so I'm glad to see that. Now, going over, Sega actually had a good little booth on showing stuff out there this year. And the biggest thing that they were showing, of course, is they were showing off Judgment. And I gotta say, seeing Judgment played and playing a little bit of Judgment, I'm excited for that game to come out next week. Because for those who don't know, Judgment is a spin-off title of the Yakuza franchise, where instead of living in the organized crime life as a Yakuza member, you're actually playing a detective and actually solving crimes there in the same district of Tokyo that exists within the Yakuza universe. So it's interesting to see the different styles, but the fighting in that game is so much fun. There's a lot of different mini games, and the way that they have it set for you to solve the crimes is very interesting with the way that investigation works, and then having the little drone and being able to fly around and do that kind of stuff. Like, that game is going to be absolutely fun. And Kofi, I know you actually paid to have that game imported, didn't you?
Yes, I took the bullet to the wallet to get that game as soon as the news of I think it was an actor named Pierre. His actual name is Pierre, and he was found on cocaine possession in Japan. And the culture there is any media that you're associated with or making
Oh yeah, I
money
heard that
off of,
story.
yeah, based on your social like persona, they'll remove you from that. So if like you're in a movie, they may, if you're just doing voice work, they may redo the entire movie with a new actor. And they did that for Judgment,
Yep.
and they replaced the actor, and they still made the U.S. localization date that they had set out before the cocaine charges came out. But of course, I'm the enthusiast, and when I found out that it was so funny, it was on sale on the Japan store, and I was gonna buy it, but I decided to put it off, and they pulled it off to the Japan store 2 days later, and I freaked out, and I bought it on Amazon, and I went to IGN Japan. They were having a live stream, and all the Japanese fans were posting that it went to like almost number 1 on the Amazon store. And the main developer of Judgment was asked about that, and he was like, he was like kind of disappointed. He's like, oh, so now it's gonna sell, but I did import it. I really haven't had time to play it. I just finished the
Controversy
game.
sells.
Yeah, exactly. Controversy sells.
It does indeed.
So I have the game actually just well, I played it when I first got it like a month ago for a couple of hours. I really do enjoy it. Piggyback on what Bloody was saying, it is about a lawyer who had a almost perfect I don't know how you say, like how you defend somebody who is being a defense lawyer. He had like a 100% protection rate, and then something bad happens, and he completely loses his reputation. And so now all he does is detective work for the same organization that he used to be their number 1 lawyer. So it's very interesting. It's a humbling experience to see the main character kind of like powerless in the world, as opposed to somebody like Kiryu.
Yeah, Kitty,
So um, and also to what Bloody was saying, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the main character's name, but his fighting style is much more fluid than Kiryu. It's got
isn't it
like a very much
Taiga? No, that's
ah
the ex Yakuza member
um
who's your informant. Ah,
yeah,
what is the
because
is
he
it?
can switch between 2 styles. Shoot, yeah, I haven't played the game in like a month, so
Yeah,
but
I
I
know.
really like it.
Oh yeah, I got to play a little bit, and the fighting style is so much different than even the fighting styles that show up in all the Yakuza games for Kiryu. Because every time you play Yakuza, I was like, Kiryu always learns some new fighting style, so he always plays different each game. This one feels so
Mm,
much different.
Let me ask you this though: would you rather have Fantasy Star from Sega for Xbox or Judgment from Sega for Xbox?
ooh.
That's why I
Um,
said Microsoft or Sega was just throwing Microsoft a bone because they gave them that, but none of the Yakuza games or this game is even available
Mm.
on Xbox. But they're like,
Mm.
here, take Fantasy Star.
shoot.
To be fair,
Like as much as I like Fantasy Star in the history, I have a Fantasy Star. I don't give a shit about like I could have cared less if they would have gave us two. I would rather have like Judgment, honestly.
if
Because
we
I
would
mean,
have
like we would have still
like
got two, but
You
now
you kind of hitting a good point.
yeah
we're just getting Fantasy Star early on the Xbox. It's still coming out everywhere else, bro. It's just
True.
early on Xbox.
yeah.
Like this Judgment game is not coming out on Xbox at all.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, like
so
whether
far
it's
because of
early on
fact
one or the other.
well because of the fact that
Hey, we're
they've
not
already
getting into that because that's a whole other
that
can of
yeah
worms with
that's a
BS
whole
shit,
nother
bro.
yeah, like I said, we'll save that topic because that's video material right there on that conversation.
Yeah,
Because
but is Judgment, is that PS4 exclusive or is that also coming to PC?
It's
uh
on PC too.
PC.
PC
it's
as
gonna be
well.
on PC, yeah. So
Well, it might hit the Game Pass on PC. I don't know.
I don't know if it's gonna hit the Game Pass, but
I don't think it's gonna hit
they'll
Xbox at
Eventually,
all in
I
any
don't know.
kind of
We know
form, bro.
Sega's interested, but not sure what's
Yeah,
gonna
but they've
happen.
been saying they interested for the last
but remember they
3
didn't.
years
True.
or so,
But
and then
remember,
Microsoft also went over there to Japan, did some deals and all that other good stuff. But I guess the
but
deal was just
but
Fantasy Star,
but
just like you
remember
see shit
too.
else.
Remember too is that Sega didn't fully commit to being multi-platform on certain series and general
But
until
I,
earlier
I, I
this year.
get that, I get that. But they still ain't did nothing, bro. Like
No,
it's
no,
like so.
you're not wrong. You're not
It's one
wrong.
thing to say. It's one thing to say. I can say what the hell I want, and until you see the fruits of what I'm saying, it means nothing.
Yeah, no,
And
I
I
could.
still haven't seen nothing but Fantasy Star.
Yeah, no. I'm
The
not saying
least
that you're
most
not wrong.
interesting game that they put out. Honestly, like don't
No,
get me wrong, I like Fantasy Star. There's a lot of people that like it, but when you think of Sega games, Fantasy Star doesn't come to anyone's mind. Like
Definitely didn't come to mind.
that, and
Yeah.
that's my point. You would rather see a Yakuza game that has more, that holds more weight and more oomph than Fantasy Star,
I was
bro.
like, and that's because of the fact that
It's just a little too
it's
late. I would
yeah.
say it's a little.
Because now we know that the devs themselves from Ryuga Gotoku Studios, the team behind Yakuza, they said they want to port it over, but Sega outright came after them saying, "Yeah, we know they want to, but we have no plans right now." And that's where it comes on the business side of, "Hey, Sega, y'all need to tighten up," because the only one besides them that we want to see games from over on the Xbox is from Atlas. You know, we got a lot of their games before, but we're not seeing the remake of Catherine with full body, and we're not seeing Persona 5 Royal. So it's like, come on, Sega. That's
Y'all
where.
not getting Catherine?
Nope.
Wow.
Nice.
I know, and that one really hurt me, especially because of the fact
And
that
that's
I love.
ridiculous because the original Catherine came out
It's
on
on the
Xbox.
360,
So
yeah, yeah, and it's
so
backwards
that's
compatible. It's like, come on,
yeah,
why are you gonna hold this one back?
that's what dude, that's what makes it even weirder, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Makes no
saying. Is
sense.
that Capcom has been better, or not Capcom? Sega's been good about releasing games on the Xbox, but when they hold back, it's really bad holdbacks, and it's just like, come on, don't do this. I was like,
I mean, I don't even see. You give them too much credit because you're saying they being good. I don't think they being good at
no,
all, bro.
when they
Honestly,
release
because I
when they
mean,
release stuff, it's good.
when you look at quality like stuff, Xbox doesn't see any of the actual quality, bro. They just give you the meh. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we don't care about this. Xbox can have it too. But like stuff that I feel like matters in their bigger titles, you don't see them
I
on
mean, it's
Xbox,
the
bro.
same. It's the same way with Bandai, and it's the same way with Square. That's why we call them out on this. That's why we talk about this. That's why we the focus points
But
on
Square
this.
biggest franchise still come to Xbox though, bro. Like
Uh, I mean,
Final Fantasy is not their biggest
how
franchise.
no? How long did it take for us to get Final Fantasy? The only
Uh,
Final
since 12,
Fantasy.
no, or
No,
13.
no. We only
13.
just
Yeah, it was 13.
13 was the
So, but
only one we got.
you've gotten everything since 13, except for the online one that, well,
But
isn't it gonna come to
14.
now or
Isn't that
something?
coming? Yeah, isn't that coming
Yeah.
too?
So
Is
you
no,
it
got
coming to Xbox?
everything.
no. Final Fantasy 14 online is still not coming to Xbox.
I thought they said it was coming.
What's the one
And that's funny because
that they
11's on 360.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
11's
is.
on
I swear they were
360.
talking.
They
I
no
swear they were talking
the
about Final Fantasy Online on the
yeah
stage.
no that was during Square's conference, which we'll go ahead and head into because
Okay.
that's the new expansion, but it's still only
Yeah,
PC
okay.
and PlayStation 4. The director of Final Fantasy 14 says he wants it to be on Xbox, but he wants it to be crossplay, but Sony won't allow it, so Square's not doing it. I was
Well,
like,
that's
so
ridiculous because they should still do the game just because if
Eh,
there's no crossplay
they
doesn't mean you
they
shouldn't do
should,
the
yeah,
game.
they should, and that's why I say Square has been the worst about it because they're the most pick and choosy about what they release on Xbox. I was like, yeah, we got Final Fantasy 11, but Final Fantasy 11 online was doo doo, and we can all admit that. That's why they had to do 14. We got the 13 franchise, yeah, but those are the only ones besides when they did Type Zero, and Type Zero was subpar, and the last good one that we got was 15, and that was multiplat as well. And then 2 years later after that, they're like, oh, you know what? We're just gonna re-release everything else. So they're like, y'all get six, y'all get seven, y'all get
Honestly,
nine,
I think it's only
10.
a matter of time until it comes, especially now since a lot of stuff is opening to that cross progression, cross play. I think it'll be coming because I mean, Final Fantasy is giving us a bone with everything else, like right. We got the old ass Final Fantasy 7. We're gonna get the remake at some point after it launches with a 2 hour segment of play.
Yeah, but like
But
I said, we when these companies do good, it's good. But when they don't do it, we call it out because it's some bullshit. And Square's always been one of the biggest ones about that. Look at everything that they showed off during their announcement, right? The only thing that they confirmed that'll be Xbox is the fact that they're doing Final Fantasy 8 now remastered,
Thank God.
which is great. And the only other thing that they announced that's going to be on Xbox besides the Avengers project, which is done with Crystal Dynamics, so they have no choice, was Romancing Saga 3, which
And
is
let me ask you guys one question. For people who prefer to play on Xbox, how do you feel if Dragon Quest was announced for Xbox? Do you care at all?
I would
Or
I would like Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is one of the oldest running JRPG series besides Final Fantasy and besides
yeah,
what we see when like Tales and stuff like that.
right.
I don't for me I don't know because I haven't played Dragon Quest in a very long time, so it's just like I'll be like, oh, Dragon Quest, cool, and my old memories will probably come back, but it's not gonna be something I'm just like super stoked for, and I can't wait to get in my hands.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Like if we could get any Dragon Quest, either Dragon Quest 10 or Dragon Quest 11, I would love them to port over.
Yes, I want to play 10 too.
Well,
I think that would be
I'm not a good Xbox fan, so
Yeah. So's like the Xbox fan that's just like, yeah, I support Xbox, but I'm actually PC. It's all right. He's our resident PC man. That's why we keep him around.
No, he's just the resident. I keep it real, man, bro.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
what it
That's true.
is.
Oh no,
If
he's
Xbox had hot stuff, he probably would be there.
Yeah,
Too,
if
but
they had some fire, I'll let y'all know.
yeah,
If they
yeah,
had some fire.
yeah. Well, he's gonna see that fire next year because he's gonna be there live with us at the fire next
Oh,
year.
yeah.
or the year after.
Oh right. So
Wait,
yeah, the way that everyone says it's always the next year. It's always the next year. But yeah, Square did showed off some things, and of course the big drawback or the big draw for Square Enix's conference was Final Fantasy VII Remake. First 15 minutes of their hour-long presentation was all Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I'll say this: anyone who's heard me talk in the past knows I don't like Final Fantasy VII. They know I don't like the original. I felt it was overrated.
Really?
I don't. I did not. When I played Final Fantasy, I played Final Fantasy 6 on the Super Nintendo, and 6 was amazing.
Can I throw this out here that I like 8 more than I like 7?
Yes, that I was gonna say I like 8
Me
more
too.
than 7.
Me too.
I
I'm
like
with you.
8, even though the joke about 8 is that it's literally about a bunch of kids who had a fight in the school playground that caused a war, which is basically the plot of 8. I found 8 to be much better than 7, and 10 was better than a lot of those. But I found 7 to be overrated, overhyped, and everyone says that Aerith's death is the most sad death of all time. I was like, no, I didn't care about her. I was like, she was annoying. I was glad when Sephiroth stabbed her. But seeing the way that they've been redoing all this with Final Fantasy VII Remake, they have completely changed the tone. They've completely reimagined it because it's not just a simple remake. No, it's an entire reimagination, right? And I like the way it looks. The fighting system in that game, because I was one of the few people who got to play it at E3, and I'm talking few because of the fact that you had to wait in line to get a ticket to get a timestamp for that game.
Yeah, I heard
So
about that. It was
yeah,
crazy.
it was crazy because everyone who went into at the very beginning of the day would literally rush to the Square Enix booth to get a ticket. Like I was able to get in.
As soon as the doors open, bro. That was the first place you had to be.
Yup.
You had to be in front of the line, or you.
Yup.
And I heard it was like right where the doors open.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Bro.
So in the
if
first
you were
10
minutes late, bro, you
yeah,
were done.
if you weren't there within the first 5 minutes of the doors opening, you were not getting a ticket.
Nope, you're giving it too much justice, bro. It wasn't no 5 minutes, 2 minutes, bro. If you wasn't there in the first 60 seconds, it was a wrap.
Yeah, because when I got in, when I went on the last day, when we're talking when the doors open at 9, I was right behind the front of the crowd, and I got a ticket. Now it was all the way at 11 to 12, like 2 hours later. So shortly after me, like all the tickets were gone. So I'm saying you had to be in this line ready for it. And I got
Max said Max was there before it opened for like the public, and he said it was even worse then. Like he was there like earlier, and he said it was terrible then. So he couldn't imagine what it looked like in the public.
Yeah,
it was bad, bro. It was real bad.
Yeah,
that was probably like honestly the worst line. Like it was the shortest line, but it was like the worst line.
Yeah, but once if you got a ticket,
crazy.
you were solid to get in.
That's the only thing that was good. And I prefer some of the other big ones do that. Like give out a ticket for a time. That way I don't have to sit in line for 3.5 hours. I can like leave and just make sure I'm back by that for the.
I honestly think that is something that should do at least for the big boost.
Because Borderlands, even though they had like 100 people that could play at a time,
it was still
it was still crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was still taking some time. But
crazy thing, I played Borderlands 3 right next to Damon Hatfield. For those who don't know, that's the freaky guy from IGN. He's
wow.
cool, so,
oh, nice. But I got to go into Final Fantasy VII, and I'll say this: they were hardcore about not letting anyone record anything, probably for good reasons. But I was like, some of the lady who was running the line was real cool because she was like deep in character, and she likes my shades, so she's like,
hey, let me tell you, man. Hey, the Borderlands people, they know what they're doing. They know who to hire to run their lines. That's all I would say. Though.
Yeah. Yeah, they had the energy for that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, the entire booth, the way that it was set up, the way it looked was phenomenal. And when I played it, I was just like, all right, let me see what this is about. They absolutely perfected the action RPG elements of 15 mixed with some of the time ATB systems that we saw back in 13. So if anyone played Final Fantasy 13, you know you will be able to move free
That's
roam
my
and stuff.
favorite one, to be honest.
Yeah.
What?
13?
13?
Yeah.
No,
I'm just after I seen like the trailer for Final Fantasy 13 Versus or whatever,
which
and then
which
after
later became
seeing
15. Yeah.
yeah, and then seeing Avid Children, I was like, that's the game I want. So I like that action and combat and just the adventure, like just exploration and roaming.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
And
It's like the
and it
first
does
person.
that. Yeah, and it does that really well,
Same.
right? Because the fact that it has the openness that you saw with 15, so you know you can roam around the area, and the fights are as soon as the enemy see you, you know it's very much into it. But the thing is now you charge the ATB gauges instead of waiting time. You charge it by using some of the base attacks like you would in 15, and then those charges is how you do special abilities and your skill stuff like you did in 13. So it's a nice mix between both of those systems, which I really found interesting. And where the demo took place that I got to play was right around the demo where they showed during the conference where you fought the mech after Barrett and Cloud placed the bomb inside of
Yeah, that
the
scorpion thing, right?
the Scorpion tank. Yeah, so that one was really interesting to play, and the way that you can do it, the way that the teamwork switches up, and how you can kind of go back and forth between everyone using abilities at the same time, was really interesting. I'm really looking forward to what they do with it, and now I'm more interested in that because like I've watched all the Final Fantasy VII movies, I've played all the other Final Fantasy VII games, like. I don't know if anyone remembered Dirge of Cerberus way back on Final Fantasy on
I
PS2.
low-key love that
Yo,
game.
Yo,
shout
Yo,
out
it
to
was
Dirge,
hot
Vincent.
garbage.
yeah,
Vincent
It
Valentine
was hot
is my
garbage.
dude.
yeah,
It was
Vincent.
hot garbage,
dopest-
but it was
Yo,
fire.
yo, it was that was
Literally,
a
I
fun.
don't play without him.
Yeah, straight up, I was like, Dirge of Cerberus. I loved it. I loved the third person shooter, even if the game was bad. Vincent was like the coolest dude ever. I was like, yo,
Yo,
this the
Vincent was one
man.
of the coolest characters ever created, but that
Yeah.
game was not.
It was.
Oh, it was
fire, but fire
bad,
too.
but it was fun.
It was bad good.
Yeah. It was one of those games that you're like, this is
Hey,
bad, but it's so good.
But that's the testament. That's the testament to how cool Vincent is as a character, though, dude. That's what it is, bro. You're just like so like.
Yeah, you
this
like
guy's so-
screw it. I'm gonna give this a pass.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
because in all honesty, that game was like playing Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
nobody here actually liked Final Fantasy VII. Am I by myself?
Yeah.
Dude,
I think
hear
you're.
a lot of people like go crazy about
I don't
that
like.
game.
I
and
didn't
I'm
never
just
like turn-based games, so.
I mean,
Okay.
I like turn-based games, but I back then I
No, I
found
didn't. I
Seven
didn't say I
overhyped.
didn't like it. I just don't think. Yeah, exactly. I just think it's just way overhyped, and I think 8 is the better game.
Yeah,
Like, so for me, like,
for
I
me,
loved
6 is.
7, and that was good and all. But I started reading about 8 like in a Game Informer, and then I remember 8 actually
too.
delivering on my expectations. And so I always hold 8 to a high. Like, I think 8 is better than 7, but by no means do I hate 7. Like when I saw
No, I
Advent
hate it.
Children for the first time, I was like emotional. And seeing the trailer like 2 weeks ago at E3, I was emotional. I was like, "Yo, look at Tifa freaking backflipping! What the heck is going on?" Like, I thought it was amazing. I thought that whole sequence is amazing. When the scorpion thing like stood on the side of the wall and it was shooting missiles and blowing up the whole facility, I
Oh
just
yeah.
couldn't believe it. I just
Final
literally just
Fantasy
like
12 is the goat.
yeah, 12 is really good.
Oh,
I actually
12,
just got that remake.
12,
Oh, yeah?
is
I don't know
12
why
is
I said
wonderful.
13. I like my favorite is 15. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, 15.
Okay, 15.
Yeah, bro
Yeah.
trip. It's all
Yeah.
about that bro trip. Hey, I'll say this: 15 had some of the best character development and best group of main characters because Noctis, Prompto, Ignis, and Gladio. I was like, those were some
I
of
almost
the
broke down
best.
at the end.
Oh,
almost
dude,
broke down at the
I
end.
did because of the fact that everything that happened to everyone, I'm just like, no, why you do this? It hurts. But no,
It
yeah.
just- mm.
Yeah,
It
but
was
seven remake actually has me interested, and that means a lot because, like I said, I absolutely hated the original 7 because I felt it was way
I have a-
overhyped.
I have a question. Did they confirm that it's still episodic?
Not
Yeah.
not
Well,
necessarily. No, it's
It's
not.
still episodic.
It's not necessarily
Okay.
episodic. It's the fact that they're doing now as a saga, if that makes sense. Is that they're doing big
Hey,
parts.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't just 2 parts.
Yeah, because the fact that what they announced, what's coming out next year, is what's going to be all of Midgar, which is like
Yeah,
the
but
first.
that's not 2 parts though. In all honesty, because Midgar is not that far into the game.
Yeah, but they're like expanding it a lot. Yeah,
honestly, that's like the first 4 hours of the game, bro.
Oh, he said the first 4 hours.
Let's not
That's
do
even
this.
worse. That's even worse. That come on, guys. That's even worse.
Hey, you know it is though. So
Yeah.
that game's not gonna be no 2-part piece. Nope. I thought at least they were gonna break it up in like discs. Because if you guys remember, Final Fantasy VII was like 4 discs.
4 discs. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
now that
I would
they
think, like-
said alone like I was like most of this is
Hey,
all gonna be
okay,
textures.
let's-
All this
let's-
gonna be
let's be all
textures
be
and stuff
real.
like this.
Nope. Let's all be real. Hey, we ain't getting the complete game to
2030. 2030.
Right.
Guys, y'all gonna be waiting another decade if y'all want more Final Fantasy VII. Just saying. But they said that the part that's gonna be releasing Gazala Midgard is gonna be 2 Blu-ray discs, and we all made the joke. It's just like how much of that's all gonna be textures and nothing else.
2 discs for a 4-hour part.
Yep.
My point, exactly.
Hey, like I said, it's going.
Am I lying though?
You're not lying. You're not lying. I know you're not lying. That's what I'm saying. I was like, they're trying to do too much with this game. Too much.
I mean, I don't blame
Hey, Novad said though.
Like one of the greatest games ever.
But Novad said this is gonna be out before Star Citizen ever is.
That game is gonna die.
Listen, that game is fire. Don't do that.
No, it don't matter if it's fire. It ain't out for everyone. It's still in pre-production. Damn it.
Listen, that game is doing things I have never seen a game do. That game is fire.
It don't matter if it does it 15 years from now when everyone else has already done it.
Listen, the fans like it, so don't hate on it.
The fans are getting tired, is what they saying.
Listen, them fans are rich.
No.
They be throwing $20,000.
Yeah, the rich ones. Everyone else, like the rest of us, don't got that kind of cash. Don't do that, so don't do that.
I hear they have.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Listen, that Star Citizen is fire.
No. Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that, so.
Listen, I'll play it tonight. Just fire.
He's gonna drop $10,000 on a spaceship he ain't ever gonna do nothing with.
All I had was like 100. I could only drop 100 on the ship. After that,
Look at Mr. Big Money over here. I'm gonna buy $100 ship.
Big money.
He's like, I can drop $100 on the ship right now.
There's only certain things I will allow disrespect to. It's only 2 you can't disrespect.
Baruto.
One main.
What about Boruto? That
Yeah.
trash.
You can't disrespect Baruto at all.
Hey, bro, that anime's trash, fam.
Listen, the manga though.
Which one?
That's the
Nah,
manga.
the manga
look.
might be fire, but that anime's trash.
Yeah, that anime.
I'm gonna go this way. The manga is fired.
Oh
Yeah,
no, the manga. Yeah, the manga. But we ain't talking about that manga. You try to defend that
Yeah, I never
anime.
hate on that shit.
Anyway, Baruto is fire. This looks good.
he's just like I gotta defend it. Well,
But
G's a
back on
Vegeta
Final
defender.
Fantasy. Back on Final Fantasy.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be something else. I'll say
Wait,
that.
aren't they coming up with a demo soon? For
Uh,
Final Fantasy?
I don't-
So, right?
I don't think they are.
I
It was
swear I
supposed
thought
to
I
be, but I
heard.
don't know if they're still doing it.
I'm not sure. I was like, it'll be interesting one way or the other. But yeah, so Square showed off the new Dragon Quest. They showed the new Dragon Builders, which was interesting. I was like, that's gonna be on Switch and PlayStation. So Dragon Builders 2 is. I always found the Dragon Builders games to be fun. So that one's gonna be interesting. He's like, hey, I've called you out. So he's like, you notice how you don't want to talk about the Boruto anime?
We're out.
Man, he used
where
to
he
cap
at?
for that shit so hard too.
Yeah,
Where
he in
you
the
at?
chat.
We're
He in the
out
chat.
Yo, Tell him get Discord.
Oh, he's throwing the gauntlet down. What you gonna do? He's gonna come at you in the DMs. That's what he's gonna do. But they showed up that Romancing Saga was one of those games that I didn't think they would announce. But I know, Kofii, you actually said that you were hearing things about them showing off Romancing Saga 3. And the fact that they're bringing that back, and that one was announced as being on the Xbox, made me excited because I really like the Romancing Saga. I didn't
even realize it was coming out to Xbox. I think I missed.
Yeah, Romancing Saga 3 was announced for Xbox, which is one of the games that I was absolutely happy for. Because Romancing Saga is another one of those old school JRPGs that a lot of people don't know. about. So having
Okay.
Romancing Saga, at least one of those games on Xbox, I think that was a good success. Like that's a good get, and I'm glad that Square did that. But the rest of their conference was literally all PlayStation, all PlayStation, all PlayStation,
Yeah.
and then
Or
they
Switch.
or yeah, Switch, and I'm glad Switch
Like
is getting
Trials of
support.
Mana.
Yeah,
Switch is
Trials of
great.
Mana. They're finally doing a sequel to Secret of Mana. And Trials of Mana, I'm glad that that's getting on Switch. I would love to see Secret of Mana over on Xbox, but that's probably never going to happen because they barely just put that out on the Virtual Console or whatever for Switch and then just recently on PlayStation. So who knows if we ever going to see that game. But I'm glad they're
Yeah.
finally doing a sequel to that. And then they also announced, what did they announce? Oh yeah, the remaster of what we were just talking about it. Remnants. No,
Oh,
Remnant.
Last Remnant.
Yeah, Last Remnant. And that
Yeah.
was a game that was really good. That was only on 360 last generation.
It's
And they
crazy.
skipped the remaster for Xbox, which is one of those things that annoyed me when they started showing it off. I was like, "Oh, I was like it's Last Remnant." I was like, "That's dope." And they were like remaster. I'm just like, yeah. And then they announced that it was only gonna be on Switch. I'm just like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
I was so
And
mad.
same day as the conference.
Yeah, and it came out the same day as the conference. Don't get me wrong, Switch owners, I'm so happy for y'all. I love that Switch is getting the support that it does. But when those games that were only on Xbox last generation are getting remade and getting completely tossed aside for the Xbox this generation and not even getting backwards compatible, that's
Yeah.
when I have to call it out. That's why I say Square is literally on one of my worst lists about what they do. Is that they occasionally do some good things, but it doesn't counteract how much they are skipping, and that's the biggest issue. They've the one thing that Square has done right is that they released a lot of those older games on BC. They just recently did Star Ocean Last Hope. They did Infinite Undiscovery.
Star
They
Ocean trash.
don't do that. Don't do that. But I was like
Somebody,
a lot of the other games they've completely just like left behind. And when they remaster them, they leave it off the platform that they made it for. Like we got Lost Odyssey. Lost Odyssey, I'm glad that Microsoft brought that IP back and supported that and made that free for everyone, and that's backwards compatible, and and supposedly they got the license back for that game, and the creator who retired came out of retirement, so they're gonna be doing something with Lost Odyssey, as they should, because that is a real good JRPG. I
Yeah,
was like,
what is the remnants of Mistwalker? Because I'm always ranting about if they came out on stage and said we're just making a new IP with those guys. Because that was wasn't he the something he did something with Final Fantasy VIII, right? The guy who made Lost Odyssey, or
yes.
am I remembering that wrong?
No, I believe that
Um,
was.
yeah, I would just love for them to do something, but like, is that team? Do they no longer exist, or
No,
do you know?
they were still together. Some of them went to other companies.
Okay, I guess that
I
makes
don't
sense.
know what happened with Babylon's Fall. Know that Babylon's Falls kind of went on hiatus and just kind of disappeared. So I really don't know
Sorry.
what's going on with that. But then Square ended their showcase with the big announcement from with Avengers Project, and I really dig an Avengers Project. I'm sad I wasn't able to get in the line for that booth, but Avengers
the
Project
line
looked
was
really
for a
good.
video.
Seriously?
But they were
The line was for a video.
for the video, but they were actually showing the actual gameplay
Hey,
demo
hey,
in that.
hey, hot garbage. It wasn't no gameplay.
Wow.
Really?
Fall for it.
No, there's some leaked gameplay out there,
Yeah,
but
I
that's
seen
some
league
bullshit.
gameplay, but you go to a line to watch a video.
That's some bullshit.
A long
What is
Really?
going on? What is going on?
I
Yeah,
thought
I
that
don't know
game was
what
going to
they're
be
very
garbage.
secretive about this for whatever reason. I don't get it.
Yeah,
that
man.
leak footage you seen is not from that line, bro. It's from like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
little
So
closed
that's what I
doors.
don't
Yeah,
understand.
little closed doors.
That
Yeah,
is
it's closed door.
that is
Because
some
when you
boo-boo.
waited in line for an hour and a half, it was for a video.
That's some boo boo. That is some booty
Yeah,
cheeks.
I don't know. I mean, do you think that's suspicious though that they don't want to show any gameplay? Like that's weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. I can agree. I don't know. This E3 was just weird in general, but especially
Yeah,
if you want
I
to.
don't
I
know.
think I think if they didn't have anything that was coming out within the next few months guaranteed, a lot of companies were kind of shying away from gameplay.
Yeah, which
Right.
is sad to see.
Yes, which is disappointing.
And like I don't know, you start off their conference with a banger like Final Fantasy VII, then you end it with just a trailer with no
Yeah,
clear.
because the
This
story
is
looked
true.
cool, but does anyone agree? Does anyone like the character designs for the most part? Like, I
I
think
do.
I
Captain
thought they were
America looks
bad.
weird.
The
I
funny
don't.
thing
I
about
have
it,
no issues with the character designs.
you know the
Honestly, I was
funny,
like,
every face looks the same, just with beards.
Yup.
You-
okay,
Talk
that,
about Black
yeah.
Widow, though.
To be fair, I can agree to that.
That's kind of fair, but I'm talking about like the costumes. Like, I think Captain
Oh.
America's costume looks fucking weird.
I had no issues with the costume designs, to be honest. I think it was interesting the fact that they gave him more like combat armor. I was like, and I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, if you've read comics, there's so many designs to costumes over the years. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna change the design immediately, but still.
yeah, I mean, I had no issues with the designs. Maybe the faces I could kind of see, but I had no issues with anything else. Honestly thought it looked interesting, and I want to see more of it. I know they said that they're going to be doing betas here soon for that game, but that's also one of those aspects of where you see Sony throwing out that hey, we want exclusive money, but we know you can't make this exclusive because they get exclusive first access for beta.
Oh, it's
And
coming.
then like
first on
content, yeah.
PlayStation.
No, it's not coming
Okay.
first, but
Alright,
they get to
alright.
beta. They get beta
Y'all
first,
ready?
and then
Okay.
content.
Y'all ready for it? Because
Yeah.
we all know them dudes look garbage. That
Okay.
this
You talking about the
faces.
developers?
No, I'm talking about that game, dude. The
Oh.
faces and the suits were horrible. The biggest problem, bro, is because they tried to do the suits more like the movies, but then you gave us these faces of who the hell are they?
Yeah.
Like milk carton people, like people. Had they went some different route with the suits and made them more like the comic, they could have gave us like a different visual look for their faces. But the thing is that you got the suits aligned with the characters of the movie, so we expect it.
But
Yeah.
even I don't
To
see
look.
that because Captain America doesn't look like the one from the movie at all.
No,
Like,
that's
his suits
that's
are
my
completely-
point. That's my point. They chose.
They try to
have,
make it
like,
No, but the
similar,
suit's
though.
different.
Yeah,
They try
yeah.
to make
super
it
similar
kinda
though. It's
similar,
super
yeah.
similar. It's super
Not
similar,
really.
though.
They tried to make it, but no, it
He
was
does
it was
kind of
not.
look like he's from Army of Two or something.
Yeah, he looks
Like,
more like
no.
Army of Two, if anything.
Like, still hot garbage.
I don't know. They should have worked on the
Army-
faces, then the suits.
Me too is
to
hot
fit the match the faces. But I don't know. Hopefully,
I did think
hopefully
Black
it's
Widow
good
looked terrible.
Like,
It's
in
basically-
motion, his suit doesn't look as bad, but like, I don't know.
I'm
that should
definitely
look
going to change
weird.
the suit. Yeah, I'm definitely going to change the suit.
Yeah, like I said, there's good. I hope they do what they do with like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games and like a lot of those others is that they have suit variations to where you can change the
Are you
costumes.
guys
They said they
impressed
were.
by that
they just
game?
keep the mask on.
Nope, I'm not.
I'm kind of
Like,
intrigued
wait.
by it.
Wait,
bro,
what?
like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, it doesn't look like it evolved even a little bit. Like, it looks
Oh,
straight
wow.
up like how it was back then.
Hey, you know what's crazy?
It's
You know what's crazy?
basically what it is.
When everybody made the big deal about Ultimate Alliance only being on the Switch, I was probably like one of the first ones like, who cared? The reason why it's on
I
it
didn't like
because
Ultimate Alliance as a kid.
I
it's not so
actually
much
Me
as
either.
that,
I
it's just
I
that-
liked it on the PS2
It's
days.
not so much as that for me. It's just that I knew that they were throwing them a bone because they weren't going to be able to run this Square Marvel.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was like,
Like,
I don't know. Like,
I
I'm
mean-
buying the game just to try it out, but I'm not impressed by it.
yeah, I liked Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 because that one was better, but 3 definitely doesn't show that they changed up the.
hey, X-Men Legends was better than both of those games.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
facts.
Oh snap!
Facts.
Oh snap! No, are you talking
No,
about? Wait, Legends. You're talking about the one where you play as those 3 random kids who end up joining the X-Men, right? The RPG one, or is that a different one?
I don't know. The Insurgency game that was basically like Marvel's version of Injustice back in the day. That
Yeah.
game's fire.
Oh yeah, when they're fighting.
Rise of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Imperfect. That's what it was.
Yeah, Rise of the Imperfect.
Oh wow, good memory.
That one was
Yeah, I
actually
remember playing the
surprising.
shit out of that as a kid.
I mean, I remember playing the Wolverine X-Men game, and that one was pretty dope.
No, hey, X-Men Legends was not the one with the 3 characters, bro. X-Men Legends was just like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but it was just
okay.
X-Men only. Because then
Oh.
they did the second one also like with Apocalypse. Don't
Yeah,
remember the
but
name of it.
The
but
X-Men, isn't that DLC for this one? Like, I don't think you get them in the base game,
I
right?
have no idea.
I have no idea.
I heard it was a
I know-
DLC or something.
I know they said in the
For-
Avengers project
for
that they're gonna be doing.
Alliance?
Hold on, let me
I
look
know
it up. I don't
Ultimate
want
Alliance.
to
I know Ultimate Alliance look worse than Ultimate Alliance 2.
Oh snap!
Oh, I see.
I know that.
X-Men DLC.
Oh snap! Yeah, that's something that's gonna be a hot something hot, but it's not gonna be fire, or it's gonna be a fire. But what kind of fire? But you know what? For the Switch owners, I hope y'all enjoy the game. I think
Oh, okay, get it.
I hope y'all do. I hope y'all
If
support it. If y'all
if
wanna,
somebody wanna buy it and send it to me, I'll take it.
yeah, I would say if you wanna
I mean, it looks like a
donate,
game that would be on the Switch. Like, it honestly looks like a mobile game, like the way
It
the
that
gameplay
It
is.
definitely
bro. It
does.
looks like Marvel something Forces I was playing on my phone, bro,
Strike
for a
Force.
very long
Yeah,
time.
like
Yep.
I
Strike
don't know if you
Force.
should have brought back the IP just to do it like that again. Like, you could have just made that a mobile game to be real with you.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they could have done to improve that, but
Hey, but I told you it was. It was thrown on
Yeah,
my phone because
Yeah.
they can't get this.
You're not wrong.
Switch will buy
This one
that.
that's on the PS.
Switch
Switch
fans will
owners are
that
gonna buy the
full-
shit out of
full
that.
price. Full
Yeah.
price. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm probably
Hey,
gonna be
yep.
one of them
Hey,
too.
facts is that game's gonna outsell the Square Enix one though.
Oh,
it probably will. It
that's
will.
probably true. That's probably true. Because I'll say this.
Yeah, those
to-
them Switch owners are crazy.
Yeah, Nintendo people will
Especially
support
because
this
this
stuff.
what's that new game, the Avengers game is it's a game as a service, and
Yeah.
it might come up with problems. Then articles are going to be out galore.
Yeah, they gonna be parading and
Yo,
stampeding that
the
game.
Avengers game is not even multiplayer, right?
No,
it
it's
is.
multiplayer.
it's gonna be multiplayer.
It's
No,
basically
it's like
anthems.
No,
No, it's
Anthem,
single player and you
like,
can
for-
switch to the characters like in
No,
different
no,
areas.
no, they
Dude.
said no. They said it was gonna be multiplayer. I could have
It's
sworn they
basically
said.
Anthem with Avengers.
Yeah, it's like drop in, drop out.
Yeah,
I think.
Pretty sure it's not.
they
No,
I'm-
they said
they said
they
co-op.
announced
They
it
said
was
co-op. Yeah, they said co-op. They
Yeah, they
said
announced
it's
it right there
4-player
on stage.
co-op. They said
But they
4-player
have-
co-op.
But like they said, the world's always expanding. You get more characters. Like
They're gonna add. Yeah, they're gonna add.
It's
They're gonna add
basically
new heroes. Yeah.
Anthem.
Do you think Spider-Man's gonna be exclusive at all to Sony?
No.
Like
It would
the
be
character?
smart. It would be
or
smart for
time
them to do
exclusive,
that.
anything like that.
They could do it. It just if they're gonna do it or not because that.
Like,
game,
I mean, that's the prevailing theory. They're gonna get some Spider-Man DLC.
I
It makes
mean,
sense.
maybe,
It's smart.
but that game isn't exclusive, so they're not gonna have this Marvel only universe or whatever. So I
But they
doubt
did
they will.
say they also said that they were having some exclusive content for PlayStation. So
True,
Yeah.
exclusive content, but I don't think they would hold the whole hero. But then
Nope,
again,
there you go. Spider-Man only for PlayStation, confirmed.
Dang.
No, I don't think. But really?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
he's
It's
just saying.
most
He's just
likely
saying
gonna
that.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
most likely going to happen.
I
yeah.
don't know, but like, there's also theories that game takes place in the same universe as Insomniac Spider-Man, and even things line up where the Avengers are out west, like they said in the
Yep.
game.
Yeah, but who knows? Like I said, it's gonna be interesting. If they do, then that's a big kind of. I mean, that's a great thing for the Sony fans, but for everyone else, you're not gonna get to know anything about Spider-Man. But it is what it is at that point. But I think from there, the last thing we have to talk about is Nintendo. Nintendo did exactly what Nintendo does, and they showed off what people want to see from Nintendo, whether it's just a quick trailer with a date or actually something to show, and Nintendo fans went wild. Absolutely. They showed off more for Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, and I'm actually really looking forward to Link's Awakening. That one actually looks real good for anyone who didn't know about the original Link's Awakening. So that
Yeah,
one,
I played it on Game Boy, right? That was one.
yeah, the side-scroller one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be
I
honest
pre-ordered
about that
game months
conference,
ago.
right? I have a Nintendo Switch. I am no means a Nintendo fan. Like, I just bought the Switch because I just like Pokemon a lot, right?
Oh,
But
okay.
the
Snow
conference-
Bunny brought up a good point that
Oh.
Starlink wasn't exclusive, but Star Fox was an exclusive expansion and content for the Switch only. So it is possible that we might see
True.
Spider-Man only on
Yeah,
PS4.
I hope that's timed at the most. Like, I don't want that shit to happen. But I will say this: not a Nintendo conference. I'm not a Nintendo fan, but that was a good goddamn conference.
It
I
was.
like
It was.
the style they
It-
did. Straight up
Completely
gameplay,
agree.
release dates. I like that style.
Yeah. I was like, they showed off a lot of good stuff. So, like I said, they showed off Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening was looking really
buying
good,
that.
so I'm really excited for that. They showed off more on Pokemon. So,
Yep.
Pokemon is absolutely going to have a big aspect and a big presence. So, that's looking
That shit's selling
absolutely
10
wonderful.
million.
Absolutely. Pokemon.
Pokemon selling 20. How many Switches are out there? That's how many it's
I think there's like
That's how many
30.
it's
There's
selling, bro.
yeah, however many Switches.
That's how many it's selling.
But do
No,
you
no,
think
no,
it's
no, no,
gonna
no,
be,
no, no, no. It's
special?
not even how
Pause.
many Switches are out there.
Yep.
For every Switch, that's 2 Pokemon games because everyone will be buying that double pack of both Attack and Protect. So if
Yeah,
all,
it's gonna outsell Call of Duty and
so
everything.
so if there's 30 million Switches out there, you know they gonna make 60 million sales because everyone will be buying both games. So let's be honest about that shit. Let's be honest.
Wait, but here's the question: do you think it'll outsell Smash Brothers? Pause.
Yep.
Yes,
You do?
Yep.
Yeah. I
absolutely.
think it's pretty plausible, especially with 2 versions.
Well, here's the
Yep.
thing. It's
Well, they
Pokemon.
count them as they count them as single too. They
Yeah,
don't count 'em,
exactly.
like as
And no, that brings up a good point. Pokemon will absolutely sell consoles. Pokemon will
Oh yeah,
absolutely
it
sell
does.
consoles.
It sold me the goddamn Switch.
Yeah. So let's say I'm probably gonna end up buying that double pack and buying a Switch. But I'm buying a Switch not because of Pokemon, but I will be getting Pokemon. What made me actually really excited to buy a Switch, right? Besides the one that me and my roommates share upstairs, to have my own down here with the rest of my consoles, was Animal Crossing. They gave
Oh.
Animal Crossing its date. They showed off more of the gameplay, and it's a massive step over New Leaf. And I'm excited for that game because Animal Crossing has always been my biggest guilty pleasure on every Nintendo system. I played it on the GameCube. I played it on the Wii. I played it on the DS. I played it on the 3DS. I even played the mobile version. Literally, Animal Crossing has always been that guilty pleasure that I love to play. And the fact that it's finally on the Switch and they finally gave a date for it and showed what it's going to be doing, I was excited for that. So Animal Crossing is actually what sold me on absolutely getting my Switch again. Because I said this before, like earlier this year, I was like, whenever they give a date for Animal Crossing, I'm buying a Switch. And they gave me that, and I'm just like, all right, you got my money, Nintendo. Damn it.
Yeah, you lost me on that one. But what about that mech game? That
Hey,
mech
Bloody-
game looks
Bloody
fucking
Yeah,
Nose
awesome.
in his
Damon
own
X
boat.
Machina.
That
Are,
game looks awesome.
are you talking about Astral Chain?
No,
Mhm.
the Astral
Damon
Chain
X
is the Machina.
Machina.
I'm talking about the mech.
Oh, Deus Ex Machina. Okay, yeah. That
The
one.
Astral Chain looks hot too. I'm buying that.
Oh, Astral Chain absolutely looks good. I was like, I always love a Platinum Games game, so I'm all for that one.
Yeah, like just looking at the release between now for Nintendo, like this, July and the beginning of 2020, I try to take the menu approach. If there's something that excites me in this conference, just one game, that's good enough. I realize there's a lot of games I don't. But in this particular Nintendo conference, oh my goodness!
They
The
came.
number one big for me is So I already own Dragon Quest 11, but the one on Switch allows you to switch between like the 3DS version and the 3D version, and the 3D version has new features that'll never come to PS4, at least as far as we know. So that's a
Yep.
day one for me because I never even got to play Dragon Quest, so I didn't really miss much except for the maybe $60 I lost now. But like that's just one of the things that excites me. Obviously, Link's Awakening, Breath of the Wild 2,
Luigi's Mansion.
DLC
Yes.
for Smash.
Yeah, I love
hang
that
on.
they announced that. Yeah.
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3
Oh, yeah.
actually surprising, and I'm really looking forward to that because the Luigi's Mansion games are so underrated. I was like, those are actually really fun as hell. I was like, those are another really
I think the
good.
second one was subpar, but the first one was so legit.
Oh yeah, the second one was not as good as it could have been, but I think that's because it was marred because it was on the 3DS.
3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, but this one I think is gonna be so much better, and I'm so glad to see it. Like here's the thing, right, guys? When we say we were there at E3, especially for me and G, and we talk about some of the lines. Nintendo was the one line you had to make an entire day of and make a
I'd
choice of
imagine.
what game you want to play. No, we're
Well,
talking
let me
about.
tell you this though, dude. On top of that, dude, they know how to host booths though, bro. The whole Pokemon booth was like a Pokemon arena. Like,
Yeah,
as if
it
you
was a
were in the
straight up
battle,
arena.
bro. Like, it was so.
But you had to wait in that line for 4 hours, people. 4 hours to get to
I'm good,
Pokemon.
fam.
But
Unless you got the fast pass thingy online.
yeah, unless you got the fast pass,
got
then you
there
get
pretty fast.
yeah, you got in there quick. But they were giving away starter pins of all the Pokemon badges and stuff like that. So a lot of people were all about that. Like the thing that they had was Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon, and then a few. I think they were showing off Doom and a few other games. But Pokemon
Yeah,
and
but
Luigi's
Pokemon
Mansion
and Luigi's Mansion's
was
line
their
was
giant.
ridiculous.
Were
They had to go. They had to
huge
go open up a part of the convention that wasn't open, like
for
just
for
for
the
the
room.
line.
Yep, because there was too many people.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Pokemon
Yeah.
Dark Souls Edition.
Ultimate Alliance line wasn't that big though. Just throw it out there. Just saying.
The game doesn't look impressive. I think people are buying that off the name and nostalgia. Honestly.
More than likely, yeah. But the thing is, like I said, when it comes to the fact of Nintendo's fans absolutely support them, and that's what I wish a lot of the other fans would do. It's like support your console, support your games, or
Yeah.
whatever. I was like, Nintendo proves that their fans are absolutely always excited. I was like, they always love anything they do, and they have the most patience out of anyone. Like they're still waiting on Metroid Prime 4. They know it's being worked on, but they're okay with
Right.
that.
Bayonetta 3.
Yeah, Bayonetta 3
Hmm.
is coming out with
Hey, is that
Platinum.
still coming out? Because they didn't even show it or say
No,
anything
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
No,
it's
it's
still
coming.
coming. It's still coming. And then the
I mean,
fact
they're
is,
working on
Because
Astral
Platinum,
Chain. So.
yeah,
well, no,
Astral Chain.
yeah, because Platinum Games showed that game
But
instead of
but
Bayonetta.
let's
They
be
announced
honest though,
Bayonetta
Neff.
before.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Neff. Platinum Games is always working on like 7 different projects at the same
They
time.
Yeah,
are. They're
exactly.
so
But I imagine
split.
like their team's gonna help now.
I mean, their
Yeah.
teams are quick, but sometimes you get really good games and then like okay
Oh, you
games
get
from
hot
them.
garbage. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
honestly,
Agreed.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Ninja Turtles
That,
games was hot
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
garbage.
yeah.
And
I was
what
about to
about the
Oh
say,
my god.
Transformers? Wasn't there a Transform?
yeah, there was a
What
Transformers
the
game.
hell?
That's what I'm saying is that Platinum Games they have such quick turnarounds, but it's just always like, hey, you either get really good games or you get hot doo doo.
Yeah,
I was
the
like,
Transformers from Beanox was actually pretty good, but the rest of them,
yeah, yeah. The rest of them, no. I was like, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, good. The
oh, that was dope.
That
Vank,
Hell
was
yeah.
awesome.
yes, Vanquish, dope. I was
One
like,
of the best. Almost my game of the year,
oh
that
yeah,
game.
dude, Vanquish was so underrated, but I love that game, and it's backwards compatible. So yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty dope.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
All right.
yeah, yeah. And then like the first Bayonetta backwards compatible as well. What was it? Killer is Dead. Killer is Dead is also backwards compatible from them.
Mm.
I was like, and that was a game that no one knew about. I was like, I'll do like Killer is Dead. But yeah, they do have quite a difference in quality. They're not consistent. I was like, I love them, but yeah, they do not have consistency.
And shout out to Near Automata.
Yeah, Near
That was
Automata. Yeah, I was like, I'm loving that game. I've been streaming that drunk off my ass.
it.
I've been playing that game. I've been streaming that game drunk on hard mode, and it absolutely is brutal. But I have been making great progress. I finally beat the first ending, and now I'm working on the second. It took way too long. It took way too long. But yeah, and then what really kind of made Nintendo really good is that they announced that there's doing a sequel for Breath of the Wild, and all they said was, "Hey, it's currently in development," and people got excited about that.
That's great. I might beat the first one before that one comes out.
I know, right? It might beat it. And Novad, I have been doing real good with that. I was like, I don't need your condescendingness, sir. Uh, I do get drunk as hell and lost half the time, Snow Bunny. I absolutely do. You already know. Uh, but Breath of the Wild, that announcement for a sequel came out of nowhere, and you know what? That's good for them. Well, technically, Legend of Zelda.
It came out of nowhere, but it was kind of like you kind of like knew it. Like the
It came
story was
it came
officially
out of
like
nowhere,
they
and
were
you're
trying to
just
do a
like,
second one.
yeah, you could assume that could do a sequel with it. But the thing
And then
about
everyone talks about like the turnaround. It's not really a turnaround because the original Breath of the Wild was just the one for the Switch was ported straight from the freaking Wii U,
Wii
bro.
U.
yeah,
Yeah, it's so this is actually like the first Zelda or like
proper, yeah.
the Switch. Yeah, because the other one was the Wii U one, dude. That's all
Yeah,
it
but
was.
here's the real thing about it, right? Though, is that when it comes to like Legend of Zelda, those games almost never
Quality.
get sequels. I was like, each game is its own iteration. The only one that ever got an actual sequel was um, Majora's Mask after Ocarina of Time. And then technically, if you want to look at it, I guess if you go back to the old Game Boy days, you had what was it, Tale of Ages and Tale of Seasons, but those were kind of
Yeah.
two different
Yeah.
versions of the same game. But most of the
Yeah.
games don't ever get sequels. You know, they just get another game in the series that's its own separate story. You know, you have Minish Cap. Well, I think technically there is one. I was like, you had what was it? Wind Waker, and then you had Spirit
Yeah.
Tracks, and then what was the other one that was in that same series? Spirit Tracks, and then
What's the one where you can go into like 2D and
yeah,
go along
that was the
walls?
one that came out on the 3DS. That one, I think those were all sequels of each other in the same universe and stuff like that. Um, so
Remember Four Swords? That game was dope.
Four Swords was really cool, but most of the Zelda games never get actual sequels. Only very few ones. But I was like Wind Waker, then Spirit Tracks, and then I can't remember the one that came out on the 3DS where you can like blend into the wall and stuff like that. Those ones are the only two Zelda series that have actual sequels. Everyone else has just been one-off games. But Breath of the Wild getting a sequel, absolutely understandable because Breath of the Wild was phenomenal. It absolutely was well deserved. What they did with that game was fantastic, and the fact that it
Hope they
had
do
enough,
something with the weapon deterioration with this new one though. Goodness gracious.
yeah. But I kind of want to see what they do with the story. I was like, I want to see more of what they could do with the story after knowing the kind of world and lore that they set up with the first one. I kind of want to see what they do with the second one. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't just call it Breath of the Wild too. I hope they do what they did with Majora's Mask being the sequel to Ocarina of Time. But that's a whole other separate thing as well because of how that's technically a sequel and not a sequel at the same time. Because
But
convoluted time bullshit in Zelda is a thing. I was
yeah,
like,
no, it is. But what you call it? Speaking of fan reactions, were you any of you surprised by the banjo one? Like the
oh
reaction to
yeah,
it, at least.
the announcement of Banjo being a Smash character. I'm excited for that. Because
The
everyone
reaction caught me off guard, but I knew it
Yeah,
was
the
coming.
reactions would caught me off guard. I wasn't surprised about that happening.
that
Yeah,
everyone got excited as
reaction, the
hell.
way people went
Yeah, that shit blew
nuts.
the
Yeah,
fuck up.
I didn't see that. I didn't even know it was like that, bro. Like the way people was like reacting to it, I was just like, then they need to do a new manager game if people are gonna react like that to him just being a character on a game.
Yeah,
I think
I honestly think that it's something that they're looking at. And here's the thing, like remember when Smash first came out about a year ago, and everyone was saying, "Hey Phil, you should make Banjo a Smash character, or a character for Smash," and he's like, "Yeah, I would like to." And now a year later, we're actually seeing that. I think they were gauging people's interest. I think
yeah.
a lot of these are to gauge interest in certain things before they ever commit to something. And seeing the reaction
True.
for Banjo, I think a lot of people are we will definitely be seeing something in the future. But
Hmm.
here's the thing about it. Like we know the Nintendo fans will absolutely support Banjo, but it's like, will the rest of the fans do it? I was like, because remember, it's a
I
rare
think it would
It's
IP.
so
release on
funny
both
that you should say
systems.
that.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt. Really quick,
Yeah.
between Dragon Quest being announced and Banjo Kazooie being announced, I'm always listening to streams from either Japan and the States, and it was polar opposites. Japan saw Dragon Quest, they were like, "Yo!" A's across the screen, and when Banjo came out, they were like, "Oh, okay." And same for America, they're like, "Oh, Dragon Quest." But Banjo, they were freaking out. So I guess everybody gets something they want, but I found that so amusing that
It
it was
is
like
interesting, and
just
it kind of
polar opposites.
it shows you where that dynamic and where those viewpoints from both cultures kind of stem from and stuff like that. So I think here in the West, you definitely have the stronger support for Banjo because it's an iconic rare IP, especially on Nintendo. And seeing that character in Smash, it gets a lot of people excited. But Dragon Quest still being one of the top selling JRPGs around, besides Final Fantasy and other things like that, it's not as it doesn't have that same kind of draw. Yeah, JRPGs and those games are definitely still big here in the West, and there's definitely a strong market, but certain ones are still only going to appeal to certain hardcore audiences. Whereas Banjo was
Yeah.
very big here in the
Yeah,
West because of the fact that, it was a rare game. That was like
Hmm.
yeah,
Donkey Kong and
It
stuff like
depends on
that.
the
yeah.
Yeah,
region.
Nintendo
yeah. But you
But
look.
like Cyrus Burke said there in the chat, what if Banjo came out on the Switch? I think it could come on both consoles if they do make it. I think it'll be the Switch and
Yep,
Xbox, honestly.
yep,
Absolutely.
just like Lucky Tales and stuff like that. I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because of the fact that right now the friendship between Nintendo and Xbox is next
But
level.
you know what I'd rather do? I mean, I understand Rare does it, but they need to like involve Nintendo in a lot of that development of that game.
No, they
Absolutely.
need to. I think that should be
Like
day and date.
whatever team like did Odyssey, Mario Odyssey should help work on a new Banjo with Rare due
I would
because Mario
absolutely.
Odyssey they'll that game doesn't get enough praise, bro. Like that game is so dope. I'm
Yeah,
Yeah,
not even
because
lying.
I agree.
Banjo, realistically, back in the day, that was right up there with Mario 64. Maybe not in
Oh, no
popularity,
doubt,
but
no
in
Oh
doubt.
yeah,
But
quality,
like
gameplay,
quality
it's
wise,
actually up there.
it's a
Yeah,
great
I
from
game.
think it's better.
Banjo Kazooie and
I think it's
Banjo
better.
Tooie, absolutely the best. Absolutely, I
I
agree.
don't think Tui, but Kazooie, yeah.
I never played Toy.
I like Tooie. I really like Tooie. But no,
I mean,
you're
it's
not
hard for
wrong.
me to play because that game's old as hell, and it's oh god, it looks awful, but
Oh,
it is good.
oh yeah, it's still. I mean, have you gone back and tried playing through the Conquerors?
Like, yeah, I tried playing it through Rare Replay. It's
Hey,
awful,
look,
but
even with those graphics, it's still a great like
the
nostalgia
gameplay's
trip.
solid.
Yeah, it still holds up. I was like that's some nostalgia trips right there. But like I was saying, with that, I absolutely agree with you, G. They definitely need to have Nintendo involved in that, working with those teams with Rare on that. I was like, because if they did that and release it on both Xbox and Nintendo, that game would be a hot seller on both. and I think it would show, hey, look, this is what happens when companies can collaborate. You get some of the best things around. Novad said Mario Odyssey was overrated. But man, I really
Telling me out of his damn mind.
Oh, snap, call him out. But I really think that what we saw from the Japanese companies this year was really great E3, especially the big announcements for new games coming that a lot of people didn't see, no, like kind of threw everyone left. And I love that, and especially with what's coming from Nintendo. Like I said, with the announcement of Banjo, I think they're gauging the interest in that character and if he still can stand today. And I definitely think we're going to see something from Banjo in the future. How long? That's a different story, but I definitely think we might be seeing something soon, or hopefully, anyways. But definitely things are looking much better. Like I really like what we have coming, and I really hope Capcom does something more next year, because all that they had this year going on was just the Capcom store. They didn't have much to show, so I really hope that they have some stuff in the works. I hope there's still more truth to the rumors that we heard about a Resident Evil 3 remake or a Dino Crisis remake.
Hey, no, Resident Evil 3, I think legitimate's coming, bro, because 2 was just too big.
Oh yeah,
2 was
no,
just
I'm
way
not.
too big.
No, two absolutely like outdone everything. And I say those two games specifically are getting remade because if you look at everything else, especially on Xbox, right, we have the entire Resident Evil series except for 2 and 3. Those were the only games that never got remasters or never re-released on it. And Code Veronica. Code Veronica was the other big one. But I mean, we have Zero, we have 1, we have 4, 5, 6, 7. We have Revelations 1 and Revelations 2 and stuff like that. So definitely, I think now that we got the remake of 2, I definitely think a remake of 3 is coming at some point. But like I said, I want to see what more Capcom has in the works.
Dude, I want Capcom to touch some of their older IPs, bro. Like,
hey,
just bring them back.
Yeah,
but sequels, like Beautiful Joe is one of my favorite games of all time, bro.
Hey, yeah.
Beautiful Joe is so
Hey, yo, we said that before E3. Like, I would love to see a Beautiful Joe remake because Beautiful Joe was so fun. It was so cool. And like I said, Dino Crisis, I would love a new Dino Crisis. I want a new Dino Crisis.
They got IPs.
They got IPs. They just need to stop
Lost
sitting
Planet.
on Lost Planet's another classic one.
But the IPs have to be done faithfully, right? Like they have tried some of these, and they're just like.
Well, remember before when Capcom was putting stuff out, is that they were just kind of pushing it out because they were losing money. They were not making the money that they kind of made now. I was like, now they just need a
one IP where like the dude had like a robotic arm and it would stretch, and then they made it a
Bionic Commando.
That was
Bionic
awful.
Commander.
Yeah.
What they did to that was awful.
But that was a new take on the original game.
Yeah, no, don't do that shit. You gotta do that well.
Wait, Novad they got they've been doing Devil May Cry, and Devil May Cry 5 is dope. That's the truth right there.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's in my goatee list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except on PlayStation, where they got a lens flare every time you see a panty shot or cleavage of Lady or Trish. Just saying.
Yeah.
Unnecessary lens flare.
This year so far, Capcom's already freaking smacked it out, dude. Like the part. It's just there alone, so.
Yeah. Wait, was Asura's Wrath done by Capcom?
Platinum.
Yeah.
Platinum.
Oh, I thought that was
Platinum.
It was Platinum. Yeah.
But did Capcom publish it?
I'm not sure, but all I know is Asura's Wrath is now backwards compatible on Xbox. People. Just saying.
I need to play that. That game was
not bad.
Yeah. I gotta play that game. But guys,
CyberConnect 2.
Oh,
yeah,
CyberConnect 2
and Capcom.
Oh,
hey,
shoot, that's right.
Hey, CyberConnect, you need to keep doing y'all's thing, man. Y'all doing it right. CyberConnect 2 is one of those real good ones.
You know why? It's because they actually use a good engine when making that game. That's why that game was good.
Look, hey, they
crappy ass engines they use. They use Unreal Engine 3 on that game.
Yeah, hey, look, DMC5 did with the RE engine and the way they were able to utilize that.
The RE engine's amazing.
Yeah, it's something special, bro.
Yo, dude, what's amazing is that the RE engine was not made just for the horror aspect, because we saw how they utilized it in 7 when they built that and how they redid it for 2.
Yeah, I thought it was only going to be used for the 7 style of game. I didn't know it was so versatile to put out game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that it makes
use it in Resident Evil 2 too.
Yeah, because the fact that they made that, and that's how you had a good engineers to do that. because when you see engines made, sometimes it's always for one thing. Look at what
Yeah,
Right.
like Anthem using freaking
Like the
that
Frostbite.
infinite
Yeah,
shit.
Frostbite
Frostbite's a
engine.
perfect example.
Frostbite engine's only for first person shooters. They're trying to retrofit it in for third person
It doesn't
RPG.
work.
It doesn't work right. No. But you look at what
They
like
no,
Unreal.
they're trying to use the Frostbite for everything because they put in Frostbite in Madden, so they're just using
Yeah.
Yeah, I
literally
mean,
just
but
using
But
Madden,
everything
that shit could
everywhere.
possibly work, but like in Anthem and shit, that's what ruined it.
Yeah. Well, also it affected Mass Effect Andromeda too because that was also
Exactly, it
retrofitted.
ruined it.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is that when you have an engine that's not properly utilized or multifaceted like that, it can affect. Look at like what Unreal does. Unreal is so versatile. Unreal can be used for
Hmm.
everything. We've seen what Microsoft and their studios have done with the Unreal Engine across
That's why I say
multiple
I think
different games.
Unreal is the best engine overall because it's
Yeah.
so versatile.
But right now what we're seeing with the capabilities of the RE engine, that's phenomenal, and I love what Capcom did with that. They absolutely killed it. They did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we have to remember about game development. Like we say, like they need to take their time and stuff, and absolutely, and then like put love and care into it. But the engine's what really matters a lot. Like a lot of these games, they don't come out right because they just don't use the right engine. An example is like look at the Halo franchise when 343 took over. The reason they're not able to fully do their vision is because that engine's been holding them back. Them switching to slip space or retrofitting the engine, that's gonna help Halo Infinite a lot. You're gonna be surprised when you see the gameplay.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I would say all I know is that it's crazy. So
Yeah, I agree with engines being the limiting factor. I mean, as a PlayStation fanboy, I always talk about I think they call them the Ice Team, which is a branch of Naughty Dog that is like an in-house engine creator, and they can basically make sure there's always bodies focused on upgrading that engine as they go between generations, to say PS3 to PS4 or whatever they're doing now. Um, and then they can share that information very easily with other teams. Like we know that Guerrilla Games is the Decima engine, so this Ice team might learn something from that Decima engine. So I'm hoping for Xbox's first party to be competitive, that they hopefully allow engines to be more fluid and give people that freedom. If they want to do Unreal 4 engine, that's fine too. For instance, Days Gone is made of the Unreal engine, so you know do what you do.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting on how they utilize all that. But guys, we're coming up here on the end of the show. So I do want to thank everyone who stopped by to come out and watch us and support us. So it's been a great time. And I want to give love to Kofii for coming back again. It's always good to have you on the show, man. Tell everyone they can find you at, my man.
Everybody, you can find me at creative_Kofii on Twitter. I am a import gamer who typically doesn't have enough time to play import, but I love Japanese games. I ended up learning the Japanese language so that I could play these games, among other things. So if you're interested in learning Japanese, you can always hit me up. I'm kind of putting together free resources to help begin the process for learning Japanese. It is a huge undertaking, but I love it. It's become one of my most passionate spaces. So definitely hit me up if you have any questions. And you can find me on the Vitamin G podcast on Monday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And check out FC Violent, Nubs, Pharaoh, Zero, and my dude Dante Crisis. So hope to see you there.
Definitely. I was like, I love those guys. I can't wait to hopefully come back out one day with y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
But
need you out there.
definitely, definitely. And also got to give love to the fraud of the crew who finally showed up a year and a half later because he's been
You gonna you
yeah.
gonna keep putting that year and a half emphasis on?
Yeah, I am gonna put that year and a half emphasis because this man ain't been here since last year. So Neth, thank you for swinging on through for once and actually being free for some time.
Yeah, man, I wish I was on here more, but they always make me work on this day, apparently.
Something like that. Yeah, blame the job. Blame the job. And of course, I gotta always give love to my crew. Soul had to step away for something. Unfortunately, Op wasn't able here. Our resident lawyer was taking care of business and paperwork at his restaurant, so he wasn't here to do it. But of course, we always got the super dad here. So what's good with your super G? Let them know where they can find you, man.
Oh, man, they know where to find me at already. It's all good. It's all love. I'm just glad to have Neff back for a show, man. It's good hearing from you. I can't say good to see you, but good hearing from you.
Oh
And
wow.
my boy Kofii, man. Kofii, come back anytime, bro. You're like an honorary member, so
Yeah,
you're
definitely,
welcome.
Kofii. You're always
Anytime
welcome.
you available on a Saturday in the morning, come through. Love your insight.
Yeah, for real, Kofi. You're always welcome. And
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Were you talking to me?
yeah, we were talking to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I was listening. I didn't know you were talking to me. Yes, I'm so glad that you had me on. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I heard what you said though. I heard what you said.
Yeah, you're always welcome anytime. And Neth, the chat says they'll see you in another year and a half. So you have fun.
All right.
And of course, guys, you're on the channel, so you already know what it is. So everyone, make sure you follow everyone's social media down below and check them out. Of course, you want to find the links to all my social media, Twitter, Facebook, my Mixer, whenever I'm streaming over there, and all over. You can find that down below. So guys, make sure you follow everyone, show everyone some love, and all that stuff. Oh no, the lawyer ain't doing paperwork right now. Oh no. And guys, if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It is absolutely appreciated. We're trying to grow the channel. We're trying to do more. I'm trying to do more. You're gonna see a lot more coming from us
Sub
here
and
soon.
like.
Yeah, like it too. Share it with everyone you know. And
SNL sub and
yeah, sub and like SNL. And for all the audio listeners, once this goes live up on the audio, make sure that you're following everywhere we are, whether you're on Google Podcasts, Spotify, on or Apple Podcasts, or over on Anchor FM. Please, guys, share it out with everyone you know. But guys, until next time, we'll catch you all later. Peace out, and check you later, guys.
peace.
Peace out.